Hello.
Hello.
What is up?
How are we doing
Hello. Hello.
tonight?
Good. We're ready to roll. Wait,
Let's see. Where is Will?
that's what I was gonna say. Hi Isa? Where's Will at so we can get this stuff rolling?
Yes, sir.
We already
We
got
got a
five comp results in.
lot to
Still
talk
a few
about.
to go. Yeah,
Yes,
I
yes.
know. There he is.
Good
My
evening.
boy.
Good evening.
The boy. All
There goes
right,
that
we've
man.
three. This is the Teardown. Welcome, guys. This is a homeroom live reaction kind of show. Reacting to results are coming in across the country. As I mentioned, we have five results in already, and then we all will cover the rest as they come in. My name's Kortney, and I cover Texas Show Choir for homeroom.
I'm Chris. I am our West Coast contributor at Homeroom Show Choir. One of our West Coast contributors.
I'm Dylan Moss. I'm one of the Illinois contributors at Homeroom Show Choir.
My name is William Soki. I don't usually see me on this show, but I'm the editor-in-chief of Homeroom Show Choir, and I am live from the Wisconsin Show Choir Download theme page, which I run as a nice little gig as well.
Woo! So kind of after we talked about everywhere, we're kind of all over the United States. How is everyone feeling about this snowstorm rolling through? I know, obviously, Will, me, and Dylan are kind of in the Midwest region. So, Chris, you're kind of the one that's left out. You're not feeling the pain we're in right now. But how's everybody feeling about the five comps that got canceled today? And just how are we doing with that?
Um, yeah, comps that got canceled, that always sucks. That always sucks, especially because both of them were in, I think both of the ones that were canceled for weather reasons were in Missouri. So that
Mhm.
entire circuit
One in
just,
Mississippi, right?
wait, what'd you say? Sorry.
Plus one in Mississippi, right? Northwest Ranking got
Oh yeah,
canceled.
Yes.
Northwest Rankin, yeah. That one got canceled. But yeah, no, that's an entire circuit just got shut down for a weekend, so that really sucks to see, for sure.
So
Yeah.
comps that got canceled, I have Chillicothe, I have Northwest Rankin, Pleasant Hill, River Valley, and West Branch Saturday Night Drive. So I know all of those aren't necessarily weather related, but most of them were. So it's weird to see how this one snowstorm is kind of affecting everywhere in the United States.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yes,
yeah,
great. I do just want to give a shout out to the Chillicothe Hornet Choirs program. That's the competition I was originally going to be at today. I was their inaugural festival. They had drawn a really, really solid lineup. They had drawn Blue Valley, which is a huge, huge power in that Kansas City area. They had drawn Carthage, which was a pretty good choir in the Southwest Missouri region. Chesterton, all the way from Indiana. Oak Park, which has already won a competition this year. Hannibal and Harrisonville, probably the two best 4A choirs in Missouri right now, plus a smattering of other groups. So I do want to give a shout out to Chillicothe, and then also Pleasant Hill, Mount Vernon, La Crosse, and Northwest Rankin, which are all comps that were canceled due to weather. River Valley and West Branch were canceled due to low signups. So, and Winfield and Mount Vernon had to reschedule as well. So,
yeah, it's definitely a weird week for like canceled comps and everything like that. But at the end of the day, I'm glad that all of these were still able to pull off, especially the ones that are in the Midwest and getting pummeled right now. They're still going through. So what competition are you guys wanting to talk about first? We have five to choose from. We have the Anderson, we have the Hoover, North Royalton, which I already saw a comment about, Scott, and South Jones. I'll kind of let you guys pick, and we can go from there.
if we got a comment about whichever one we got a comment about, let's take that off rip and
Yeah,
give
North
people.
Royalton. The one
North
in
Royalton.
Ohio. Let me pull it up. All right, so we have North Royalton Showdown. Let me go on here. So in first place, we with best vocals, we have Music Express from Garfield Heights High School. In second place, we have Top 20 from Kenton with best visuals. In third, we have Jet Setters from Alliance High School. This is a different tier, so best vocals and best visuals of that tier. What are we thinking?
We're thinking about Garfield Heights Music Express, right? Like, this
Yes.
is their first win since 2020. Is their director Stephen Penrod's last season after 25 plus years of being there. This is a group that has gotten smaller and has not experienced as much success after the pandemic as they had before. I mean, they had won 4 times in the last 6 seasons in the run up to the pandemic, and they were not the favorites heading into this contest. I kind of asked around a little bit, and most of the locals would say, "Oh, the Edgewood Corliers were the favorites." Well, with the threat of weather and the cold and the snow, we did see a little bit of a shakeup in the lineup. Edgewood dropped. There were only 2 choirs in the large mixed tier. And obviously, it was a good battle. You saw that split caption in the uh, medium mixed tier. They don't call it large mixed. I would call it large mixed, whatever. You saw that caption split. Great battle. But I just want to shout out Garfield Heights in their directors last year after an incredibly, incredibly long run, hitting the win column for the first time since 2020.
I actually had 2022. They placed first in Tier 2 divisions at Marysville Showcase and Olentangy. But yeah, placing in like a higher category definitely takes priority there. But I had 2022 as their last grand championship and the last time they actually caption. So that's crazy that they were able to pull this out today. Chris,
Yeah,
Dylan, what do you think?
yeah, I'd love to give a quick shout out to Alliance Jet Setters. Another big success from choreographical duo that I've been championing for a few weeks now, Gabriella Meck and Stefan Macklin, have been doing great work with Euclid Varsity Chorale, and here they are with Alliance Jet Setters winning first place, best vocals, best visuals in Tier 2. That is a big deal for them. They're not a program that frequently wins. They did not have a win last year at all. So this is a big deal for them. Really, really happy for them. Um, and some more success for Stefan Macklin and Gabriella Mack. Definitely a choreographical duo to watch for the future.
Yeah, I don't got much else to add. I think Chris and Courtney have pretty much said my thoughts here. Big win for Garfield. Big start to what looks like it's going to be a pretty good season for them. I'd also like to give a shout out to in the Tier 2 division, Bishop Dwenger. They actually won the Tier 2 division last weekend at Beaver Creek, so and now they have a very solid second placement at North Royalton here. So they might be in for a little bit of a renaissance season. So definitely look out for them in the future.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I
Kenton.
was going to touch on that too. Like, Dwenger was a good Fort Wayne group pre-pandemic. They hosted their own invitational. They were a pretty formidable group. And one of those choirs that I think the pandemic just kind of swallowed up a little bit. But like you said, Dylan, I really like the term of Renaissance season. They've put 2 really solid weeks together. They go back to Indiana where the small mix competition gets, I think, admittedly a lot tougher. But that's some really good momentum that pretty much none of the other small mix groups in Indiana have at this point in the season.
For sure.
Kenton and Alliance actually went head to head earlier this season back in November at Ada. I just want to kind of shout that out because I feel like if the Jet Setters were in Tier 1 at this competition, you would see very, very close placement there because Alliance actually placed second at Ada and then Kenton placed third. And now here you kind of see it flipped. So that's just to show how much work goes into building a season. Because November was a long time ago, and obviously, like, your placements are still super close. So, kudos to you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, going off that, there was
Yeah.
originally supposed to be finals at this competition, I think, and those got canceled because snow. So I do wonder what the results would have looked like had there been a finals round at this competition, for sure.
I definitely think it would have been close, or we would have seen them flipped. But at the end of the day, that's not for us to kind of decide. It would have been shown if it was finals, if it had a finals. Let's go to Anderson. I loved those results. Anderson is the Anderson A-Town Showdown. a funny, like, little rhymey name. Will's all smiley because he gets to finally talk about it. Will, you want to take it first?
Yeah, sure. So the results of this one, taking home the overall grand championship and also first place in the large mixed division. I get Columbus North Vocal Point with best vocals. Second place with best choreo and best band, Glenwood Titan Fever. Third place, Newcastle Red Hot Blues. In the women's division, Westfield Illumination. First place with choreo and band, Newcastle Dynamics. Second with vocals. I think that the consensus was that it was going to be a fairly tight battle in between Newcastle and Glenwood. I don't think any of us, at least, and I say us and the people that I talked to, any of the people that I talked to was even thinking about Columbus North sitting at the table of success here. And to quote former New York City Mayor Eric Adams, all my haters become my waiters when I sit down at the table of success. And Columbus North did exactly that today. This is their second overall event GC ever after one in 2024. Ellie Kopp has been there. This is her third season. This is their second win under her. They turned away what looks like a very, very solid Glenwood Titan Fever group this year. Glenwood's kind of modulated in a little bit after the pandemic. But it looks to be a good Glenwood group this year, but Columbus North outshined them, and Newcastle's always a good group as well. So Columbus North, obviously the winner, first place here, but I think the standout group of the day as well.
Yeah, just huge for Columbus North. Like you said, nobody expected them to win this. They were a tier 2 group going in. I think they were a tier 2 group originally, with Glenwood and Newcastle being tier 1. So them going up a tier and beating those bigger groups than them, that's very, very huge for them. Also, shout out to Glenwood for getting a. I think this is the first time in a bit they've gotten a caption. I know they've added Matt Watson to their team this year, so that's definitely going to give them a boost for sure. And yeah, I watched a little bit of their show. I just got a video of it, and I enjoyed it. I think this is one of my favorite Glenwood shows in a minute. So yeah, I'm very excited to see what they do this year. Looking at their schedule, I don't think this is their only opportunity for a grand championship. I think they got a couple more where I think they can maybe take a win. So I think, yeah, I'm excited to see what goes on in the rest of their season for sure.
I think it was a good competition. Obviously, having split captions is always kind of tricky, but obviously, I think this is where they needed to belong. Titan has always had pretty solid choreography in the past, and their captions have kind of reflected that. Um, it was everybody's season debut, so there's always room for improvement from all groups going here. Like Circle City Show Choir said in the caption or in the comments, shout out Westfield Illumination sweeping the treble division. They came in and they showed up, outlasting the Dynamics from Newcastle, North Stars from Columbus North, and Titan Flame from Glenwood. I think that we will see a lot more from them this season, and I'm excited to see where that goes.
I do think, just to correct, they did not sweep. They won best choreography, best band,
Oh,
and
yeah,
Newcastle
okay.
Dynamics took best vocals.
Gotcha. Missed that one, but
No, it's it's all good.
did you have anything?
I don't have
Yeah.
anything else to add about Anderson A Town. You guys pretty much covered everything. Columbus North, obviously, you know, massive for them. A good return to form for Glenwood, picking up choreo here. A little bit disappointing for Newcastle, definitely. Had to have been thinking that they were in the running for first place here. And not to say that they weren't. We'll never truly know, and we'll never truly see the scorecards, most likely. Um, but it's early. It's everyone's debut, like you said. Newcastle will have another shot. Glenwood will have another shot. But Columbus North gets a very, very important win.
We're gonna go to the crowd favorite here. We're gonna move on to Scut Catholic. Um, I feel like that's another one Will's been wanting to tackle. He looks like he's been wanting to tackle it.
So I think my chat is frozen because I can't see any of the new comments.
Wait, really?
No.
No,
Because
that happens to me too.
they were flaming you for that quote. I will say that.
Well, great. I'm honestly glad I can't see it then. You can go look it up. That's a real quote that actually happened from a national well-known national figures. So
They were just proud that you knew it.
you're saying you don't know Eric Adams TikToks?
Never heard that.
Okay, well, you do you, and I do me. But um, Scott, oh boy, this is something that I'm very bittersweet about because those of you who know me, know that I love my new first-time winners. And this was shaping up to be a competition that would have a first-time winner. Only one of the 13 groups had ever won a competition before. And then Chesterton rolled in. And I'm very happy that Chesterton is still able to compete this weekend. Chillicothe got canceled and they found a new home at Scott. But all of a sudden it became, hey, Chesterton's here and they will most likely clean out this competition. And they did clean out this competition. So Chesterton Sandpipers taking home all the captions in the large mixed division, which only featured 2 groups. Your middle mixed division winner was Plattsmouth out of the blue, followed by Hinton and Omaha North. Small mixed Omaha Northwest, followed by Bishop Neumann, Arlington, and Omaha Buena Vista. Chesterton taking home first place in the women's division as well. So a bit weird to see an Indiana group all the way in Nebraska, but sometimes that's just what the circumstances necessitate.
Yeah, I think that a sweep here was it was going to happen. Chesterton is a strong group. They're coming from Indiana. It's 2 different types of show choir. I've noticed that, like, when my Texas groups travel up north, it's a whole different realm of judges and what judges like and what judges don't like. And obviously Chesterton here was able to prevail through that. They had kind of an off year last year placement wise, but this kind of shows that they have the chance to, they have that good start to the season and the chance to kind of come back. Shout out to Blair High School Ovation here. They kind of were dealt a card of, um, going up against Chesterton. Their highest placement last year was 3rd, so it is nice to see the 2nd place start, but you always dream of what it could have been. So Will's kind of sad about that. I feel like a lot of us at home were a little bit sad about that, but at the end of the day, it is what it is, and they still put on a great show. So congrats to them.
I do also, sorry, Chris or Dylan, do either of you guys want to say anything?
No, you're good.
I don't think I got anything.
I just want to take a moment and shout out Plattsmouth out of the blue. They're doing a Nebraska show this year. Now, you may be asking yourself, how can one do a show about Nebraska? Well, I tell you what, they start off with a couple songs from the University of Nebraska marching band / football game type beat, and then they do a song called Right Here in Nebraska, and then they finish out with some songs about gardening and corn. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you do a show about Nebraska. I appreciate it. I really do, because it takes a lot to appropriately tackle a show about your home state. I know we saw Mitchell do like a South Dakota show a couple years ago. Fort Atkinson is doing a Wisconsin show this year. I know Biloxi did a show just about the city of Biloxi either a season or 2 ago. So I guess this is becoming a bit of a trend, but I really like to see it. And also they have Plattsmouth has Lincoln Northeast director Austin Mankey arranging for them. So cool to see a young professional in the show choir world become not only a director but an arranger as well. And even if they won the middle mix division, so I guess that's as good as you could have done at a competition with no finals. So that is probably the most I've ever talked about Plattsmouth out of the blue in my life, but I don't regret it.
You mentioned Biloxi, so if Dylan and Chris don't have anything to say about that one, I think we're going to go ahead and move on to South Jones Invitational. There aren't captions posted. Will, did you ever find out captions? I feel like we were
I have
trying to
not.
get them. Okay. So in first place, you have Imagination out of West Jones. In second, you have Gold Horizons out of Northeast Jones, junior senior high school. And then in third, you have Biloxi Sound Surge. I feel like this is a placement that we weren't expecting out of Biloxi here. But what are the other kind of thoughts that you guys have on this?
I mean, yeah, I think this is a really, really nice way to start off your season for West Jones. And a little bit disappointing from Biloxi. You know, Biloxi, you would just expect to place at least second at this competition. Again, we don't know captions. It's very possible that they won the choreo award, um, and still ended up falling to third place. But it's got to be a little bit disappointing to come away with nothing at a competition where there's only two other groups in your division, competition that you're expected to be in contention for, and so on and so forth. But I think this really speaks more to West Jones' vocal prowess. Um, I've heard both, word of mouth and, for my own eyes via live stream and videos and such, just the vocal excellence of West Jones. So um, I think they're in for a great season, and definitely if they continue the season on this trajectory, they could, upset a few people, take a caption here or there, and that'll be really, really fun to see in the South.
Yeah, so big congratulations to West Jones starting off the season strong. They're a very strong group in Mississippi, and they seem to just keep getting stronger every year. I remember they upset Brandon last year, I think at Northeast Jones, and then I remember a few years back they were on right on Wheaton Warrenville South's tail back when they went south. So yeah, they've always been a strong group, always been a group to look out for. They're always they're constantly nipping at the big dogs' heels in Mississippi. So yeah, just great start to the season from them, and obviously can't wait to see where they go from here. Also, big shout out to Northeast Jones. Taking down Biloxi is a big result for Northeast Jones, and yeah, just great result there. And also shout out to West Marion New Era for winning the Tier 2 division, beating past Christian Luminary, who was a very strong group last year. And yeah, just a lot of great results, great starts for a lot of groups, for sure.
Thank you,
I
Neff.
definitely agree. Yeah.
I think enough has been said about West Jones. All the flowers to them. A couple things I want to point out here. Number one, this is perhaps your father's Northeast Jones. And why I say that is because Bill Myers was there for what seemed like forever. He retired, Angie Hodge stepped in, et cetera, et cetera. Well, Miss Hodge was on maternity leave for a time this fall, and Dr. Myers stepped back in. So we see a bump in NEJ going from middle mixed to large mixed this year. And we see Bill Myers back working with the group, and perhaps the secret sauce that they need. Perhaps they just needed a little bit more numbers wise and a little bump from Dr. Myers. And they all of a sudden are right back in contention in the 3A division. Biloxi, on the other hand, was an extra large or obese group last year, as some of the locals like to call it. And that's not my line. Okay, I heard that on another show choir podcast. So Aiden Flowers, I'm going to call you out. If anyone has issues, that's where I learned the term. But Biloxi dropped from being an extra large group to a large group this year, and I heard that was because they put more people in both of their single gender groups. And I think that that's certainly a choice that directing team make, Susan Coakley and Anna Koning. And I don't necessarily know the motives behind that. I'm not there in the room. Sometimes you make a choice as a director, and it's not for the immediate result. It's for a result, later in the season or even a year or two down the road. So I don't necessarily think that the world is falling for Biloxi. We also just have some groups in this community that start out and their shows are rough and they get out in the early season, and I commend them to do that, and they get workshopped throughout the season and they get a lot better. So I don't think this guy is falling for Biloxi. I would be very curious to see the point spread in small mix between West Marion and Pass Christian. Those were two schools that really went at it last year, and it looks like they're really going to go at it this year again. I would be shocked if the gap was more than like 5 to 10 points. So, I mean, I'm not a ton to talk about with only 8 groups going to the Saturday portion, but I think that's certainly, there's certainly still storylines and things we can draw from this.
Yeah, for sure. Just as a reminder to people kind of coming in right now, um, this is the Teardown hosted by Homeroom Show Choir. We are a live reaction, kind of podcasty live stream about the show choir results coming in throughout the United States. Right now, we're just kind of reviewing show choir results that have already come out. But my name's Courtney, and I typically cover Texas show choir for Homeroom.
I'm
Um,
Dylan. I am an Illinois contributor. Sorry, I'm Dylan. I'm an Illinois contributor for Homeroom Show Choir.
Hey, I'm Chris. I'm over out in the West Coast for Homeroom Show Choir. And sorry, to answer a quick question in the chat, we do accept questions. Just like send them into the question box, and we'll get to them when we can. If you submit questions via the question box, um, they will stay permanent and not get lost in the chat, so we can get to them when we got the time. And
My name is William Soki. I'm the editor-in-chief of Her Move Show Choir. I'm not usually on this show, but I appreciate Kortney, Dylan, and Chris allowing me to stick around as the fourth anchor tonight.
No, I'm gonna kick you out. It's fine. You're not.
Okay.
No, we love having you. We love working for you. It's fun. You make life fun. Um, okay, going on to Hoover Show Choir SmackDown. I think it's gonna be the last one that we're already have results for. I just did a quick sweep and I don't have anything else coming in.
I think far down the road from Altoona results.
Okay, perfect. So maybe
Would
we
be our
can.
first batch of during the show.
Okay, perfect. So in this, we only had one tier one school. So Rhapsody in Blue from Spain Park High School took grand champion and best vocals. In second place slash first for mixed division tier two, we have Tiff County High School 8th Street Singing Company with best show design. And then in third slash second for tier two, we have encores from Enterprise High School with best visuals. Split caption. How we feeling?
Shout out to Enterprise for this
Yes.
caption. I know when we say groups, like when groups have director changes, we say the word turbulence a lot. Yeah, Enterprise is the turbulence equivalent of flying towards a tornado. So they've just been through change after change after change, feels like recently. And yeah, when they dropped down to the tier two division this year, a lot of people thought, oh, they must have lost a step, but I don't. But this is a very solid result coming in. Take a second place in the division, only behind Tiff County, who's historically a very strong group in the division, and then also taking best visuals away from Spain Park, who had a very successful year last year. I don't think so. Enterprise, they're still. I think they still got it. I think they still got some of that magic. But I gotta give the flowers, of course, to Spain Park. This is their first grand championship, I think, since like 2009 or something around along those lines. I don't quite remember. Somebody please correct me.
2007.
2000.
Our singers.
So close. Yeah, big win for them coming off. They came off a very successful season. They got their win. Now sky's the limit for them. I'm very excited to see what they've got coming up in the Southern Circuit for sure.
Yeah, I want to touch on those two groups as well. I think Enterprise as a choir has mostly been defined by two eras. Historically, they've been defined mainly by the John Baker era, which ran from over 20 years. I think 27. 27 is the exact number. So he was with them for a long time, led them to a lot of success. And then when Cam Johnson was there in the late 2010s, early 2020s, brought them a lot of well, Dylan, you were a little on the nose there with the whole flying toward a tornado thing because their school was essentially leveled by a tornado in the 2000s, and it was not good. But
I'm sorry.
yeah, I'm assuming that was coincidence, but like that's like a little piece of like show choir weather crossover lore that like very few people remember at this point in time. But I think generally the right pieces are in place right now at Enterprise. Aaron Sheely is the new head director there, and if I'm not mistaken, he is an alum of the program, and Sam Mulligan is the new choreographer. And so we're going to tack another one up on the list of groups Sam Mulligan has brought to Best Visuals and Best Choreography Awards, and that is a list that is very quickly expanding. So Enterprise, they did drop down to middle mix this year. They've been a large mix group for the longest time, but sometimes that's what you need a little bit. Tift, after being really not a competitive group in large mix, dropped down to middle mix. They've made a great living in middle mix these past couple of seasons. Enterprise, I think, could definitely be looking at the same thing, although obviously I would love to see both Tift and Enterprise move up into the large mix division at some point in time. They've both been there in the past. I think they're both capable of doing so in the future. But I also want to give a shout to Spain Park. Originally, when this lineup was released, there was a Brandon Brio at the top of that large mix division, and everyone's like, okay, you know what, pack it up. Brandon's going to go, Brandon's going to get their win, and Brandon's going to go home. Well, Brandon wound up not going because of the weather. And, you know, it's tough, but when you decide to travel out of state, you just kind of run the risk of, well, if there's any kind of weather, we're not going to be able to do this. Spain Park, I think, would have been able to bring a good fight to Brandon regardless. Spain Park has a relatively new team as well. Martez Tidwell is in, I believe, his third season there, maybe second. Let me double check on this. Martez Tidwell is in season number 3. Garrett Lindsay is the director, and those of you Southern ball knowers will know that Garrett Lindsay had some really, really great shows at Jackson Academy. So, and he was like not involved in anything show choir wise, really. And even before JA, he was at Jasper. And we do see Jasper kind of in the bottom of this middle mix division. I hope they have a good season going forward. But Garrett Lindsay was not really doing anything show choir wise last year. And I just knew that it wasn't a situation that was going to last. And so when I saw Garrett Lindsay pop up as assistant director for Spain Park this season, I was like, ooh, like this is going to get good. And so Martez Tidwell, obviously a great record of success at Silcog as well. Shane Coe, the relatively new choreographer there. I think Spain Park is going to do a lot more damage this year. Also a previous assistant enterprise director as well. So I think Spain Park is going to do a lot more damage than people realize they're going to do this year. I am very, very excited. I believe right now I will get to see Spain Park at Auburn at the end of next month. So really looking forward to seeing Spain Park.
Perfect. I'm trying to check in on our competitions that are still moving. Let me.
Johnston should be getting to awards soon.
Okay.
That live stream started.
Perfect. Milton is on.
Milton's not going to be done for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking at it, I was like, never mind.
Thoughts on
Um,
Rome?
See if there's any questions that have been sent in. There has been none on
Well, we
my.
got a comment about Rome.
Yeah,
Oh,
Rome at Hoover. I believe they placed first. Let me double check. In the tier 2.
Or small mix, tier 3, right?
Oh yeah, small. Yeah, and they got best visuals. Let's check.
So I think that Hoover did their awards a little interesting
Mm-hmm.
because I think they did small mixed and single gender in one session and awarded captions for that. And then they did middle mixed and large mixed in a session and did captions for that. I don't know if I've ever seen something like that where they're just going to say, okay, like small mixed and single gender, which is probably a lot like larger groups.
Yeah.
The middle mix and large mix, you're all going to fight for captions. Yeah, you see something new every day in the show choir world. Rome is a choir that, to me, is a little hard to place. Obviously, they had a phenomenal season last year. They won small mix at their first 2 competitions, Albertville and Donaldson Christian. Then they made themselves known by taking home the win. They opted up into large mixed at Tift, where they defeated Opelika and Tarpon Springs for the overall win. And then they were second place in small mixed at Brandon to cap out the season. And I do see we have a group photo for Rome this year, and I don't know what the cut lines are for divisions in the South, but boy howdy, just the number of faces in that photo screams like I would put that as like a middle mixed group. And I like, again, this is just me not really knowing like what the cutoffs are. But I think hopefully like this is clearly not a group that's struggling for membership, I don't think. And so I think if they kind of run the table again in small mix and, perhaps you have the able performers, this is still a relatively new program. They're only on their second director. Leanna Iddings founding that program, Cody Goss over there right now. I think this is a program that has the potential to run the table in small mix this year and hopefully experience some growth in the future.
yeah, I've got to agree with Will. Rome's I don't know if they're a new program I don't know if they're like a new
And
program, but like they're definitely a program that's been getting into like people's views recently. And yeah, they just keep on growing. There's a program that's going to keep on growing and keep getting some very good results. And yeah, I'm excited to see the future. I know Georgia is not a state with a ton of show choir. I know TIFF's the big one, and then and now Rome's getting up there. They're getting known. So yeah, I'm very excited to see Rome, see what they do this year and beyond.
We got a
Yes.
question here from Tay.
Yeah.
Did you guys have a favorite group you saw today? She asks.
I enjoyed watching a jam session. I know that will put a happy face on Will's face, possibly, because I'm finally branching into the Wisconsin show choir world. But they put on a really good show. It was interesting. I loved the costumes, loved the theme. Um, yeah, I'm excited to see how those awards kind of pan out as well at Milton. But I really did enjoy jam session. So, yeah.
I think my favorite show I think it might be Urbandale today. I know I went into the Johnson live stream. I was saying Walkie's going to be my favorite show of the day. They were my favorite show back at Des Moines Christian, and they're going to be my favorite show today. Urbandale, they're up there. Yeah, they haven't missed a beat. They had a director change, choreographer change. They haven't missed a beat. They're still going to be one of the best groups in Iowa this season, and they're in first right now. So we'll see if that holds. But yeah, no, I love their choreo. I love their show design was probably honestly my favorite. This my favorite show overall from Urbandale in a few years. I feel like it was just a very fun, very emotional show, and yeah, if you haven't watched it yet, go watch it. Adam Brown, Kevin Chase, absolutely killing it over there, just like they did back at Ankeny. And yeah, this is a choir that I'm very excited for.
Yeah, I gotta agree with both of you guys. I really did love the Pierce show. I really loved Urbandale's show. If I was going on, um, what show I think would win if all the competitions were combined, I would definitely go Urbandale. Um, my Urbandale ball knowledge only extends about 4 years, but this is by far my favorite Urbandale show, and I've enjoyed their shows in the past. Um, it's just brilliant show design. They have an excellent baritone soloist that I have to shout out because he is just fantastic, and you don't get a lot of baritone solos in show choir, musical theater, and anything really. So to see that that soloist going out there and absolutely killing it with his acting and his voice was really really awesome. But my favorite group I saw today was Eisenhower at Milton. They they are, for those of you who don't know, one of the smaller groups in that field over there. Maybe, somewhere between 25 to 30-ish kids, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and they did a show that was all about trying to scrape together enough money to go to Lollapalooza. Lollapalooza for me is actually like a bucket list um, uh, event to attend as a big music nerd, and I just thought that they had so much energy, so much fun. And if the criteria was what show would you want to be in the most, it was that one. It just looked like a blast, and I'm upset that they didn't make finals. I would have loved to see them again, but with that kind of show, they'll be in contention for finals at a few other spots as well. So big shout out to Eisenhower.
I don't really know if I watched too many shows full through on live stream. I, believe it or not, was trying to get housework done for a fair bit of the day. So, I washed the dishes, folded the clothes, did all that. I think probably one of the only ones I watched straight through was Dowling Catholic Dimensions out of Des Moines, Caitlin Clark's alma mater. And they got a new director this year, Ellie Pauley, who's a recent Iowa State grad, 2021 Ankeny Centennial grad, which means that she was in that phenomenal collab show in between Lynn Marr and Ankeny Centennial, also probably in Swan Lake. And, we can recount good, great Ankeny Centennial shows of the late 2010s at a different time. But I was super interested to see them. They didn't make finals, but they did a very interesting show about kind of loss and remembrance. And I think, perhaps with some time, Dowling could start making some noise. So Dowling, I guess, kind of sort of by default.
Sounds good. I think we had one other question pop up. It was, what is your favorite set ever? I feel like I would like to know you guys's. I feel like that's some ball knowledge that Will might spit out at us again. Um, I feel like my favorite set I've ever watched is probably, oh my gosh, I can't even pick anything that I saw during, it's when me and Will met. What year was that? 2023?
24.
20, okay, wow, I was off. 2024, what competition was that? What
That
Wheaton
was at
Warrenville South. So you had CG, you had Los Al, you had Broken Arrow, You had, oh my gosh, I can't even think. My brain is going numb. But I think seeing CG Center Grove from Indiana was one of the craziest experiences of my life. And so by default, that, by default.
Yeah. My favorite set of all time. This goes back to Show Choir Nationals 2023. Back, and I'm gonna go Linmar 2023. Like that was my first time ever seeing a show of like that caliber. Like I'd never seen like the CGs or Los Al's of the world back then, and this is my first time seeing a show of that caliber. It just was magical. It was like it was a magical experience. I don't know. It just completely changed the way I see show choir, like show design, theater in general. And yeah, no, it was a great show. Honestly, still probably my favorite Linmar choreo wise, still my favorite Linmar show to date. I feel like. And yeah, just awesome. The Devil Went Down to Georgia, like the Grand Ole Opry. That place was loud when they did that. That was like the loudest it's been all that whole event. So yeah, that was just magical experience from Linmar 2023.
Yeah, I have to separate it into two categories: shows that I've seen live and in person, and shows that I have not. Um, so I'm gonna give a shout out to two shows that I did not see live and on one show that I did. Um, Linmar 2024. Um, I believe that was the Goodnight Moon show, if I'm not mistaken, is just such a elite show design in my opinion. I loved every single moment of it. It felt so new and fresh, but it was still taking music from like the Music Man and stuff like that. And it was just a very ingenious spin on, the classic book and, giving it context. And um, it's so catchy. I catch myself humming parts of that set every once in a while. So a big shout out to Linmar 2024. And then I got two Burroughs shows to shout out. The first one is Burroughs 2020. Not many people, I believe, have seen this show. They only competed one time, and they actually lost. They got third place in a huge upset to Brea and to
ALA,
and
right?
and to ALA. That's right. And a performance that one of my pals, Dominic Matas, was not the happiest about. Um, but there are videos of this show a few weeks past that competition that are just unbelievable. Um, I believe it's still up. That there's like a live stream of their pop show that you can go find the show, somewhere 2, 3 hours deep into it, and it is truly one of the best show choir videos I believe I've ever seen. Um, and I remember seeing it online at our online competitions where we just submitted the videos. And that was just a transcendent experience for me. And definitely my favorite show choir video of all time. And it's like a little bit of some lost media as well. And then my favorite show that I've ever seen live has to be John Burroughs' 2022, um, their BioShock set. It was just such a unique pull, such a cool aesthetic. It's right up my alley. And I will never forget their Burroughs showcase performance when two-thirds of their choir, not literally two-thirds, but they were missing like 15, 20 kids
Oh,
to
we have
COVID.
standing bear results in.
We have what?
We
What?
have standing bear results. I hate to cut you, but we got standing bear results.
Okay.
Uh,
Johnson is also happening currently.
so standing bear results. We'll try to rip this real quick before Johnston. Sorry to cut you off, but
No, you're good.
Burroughs always elite. Thank you, Nathan, for the comment. Sixth place, Lincoln Southwest Emergence. Fifth place, Burke Synergy. Fourth place, Alcorn Excel. Third place, Pies the 10th Spectrum. Second place, Norse Gold. First place with vocals and visuals, Lincoln Southwest Resonance.
So,
Sweet. I think this was kind of expected in a way. But this is an amazing, amazing performance by Lincoln Southwest here. And Spectrum and Gold. They all, got the podium. So we're about to crash out. Um, so yeah, I think I'm gonna cut it there.
Okay,
So
we can talk about Standing Bear more later.
yeah, we
Wow.
gotta go.
Oh
Oh,
no,
I just saw
no!
it.
wow.
What? No, we're
This is
back to
Sure.
this. This
Why not?
again.
Why not?
yeah. Let's do the thing.
Wait,
So
Urbandale.
Wait, everyone hit
got
the.
the results that we know of right now.
Urbandale won.
Norwalk Summer Revolution. In fifth place, Indianola Side 1. In fourth place, Sioux Falls Roosevelt Executive Suite. And in third place, Waukee Millennium. In second place, Prairie the Ambassadors. And winning the grand championship with vocals and choreography, Urbandale Studio.
Um,
Um,
Yeah,
Side.
why
I,
not?
I, I was just talking about, maybe last week about this walkie set being not only my favorite of theirs, but one of my favorite shows of the year so far. Um, and here it is in third place. Um,
Uh,
yeah, much love to Walkie. I still love that show, and I think they're still gonna do great things. Huge shout out to Prairie. I only caught a little bit of their show, um, but it looked pretty interesting from what I saw. And then we've spilled enough metaphorical ink over this Urbandale show. It's fantastic, and it deserves that win.
yeah, definitely, probably not the result Walkie was looking for, but they still got season left. They still got two big competitions to prove themselves. They, I think they'll be fine. I'm not worried about Walkie yet. I did see Prairie Show. I was very impressed by it. I thought it was probably the cleanest I feel like Prairie's looked in a while. I think Stephen Todd's been doing great with that group, especially this season. And yeah, no, Prairie put on a very, very good show. And yeah, Urbandale already glazed them a little bit, but yeah, very good show. Great show. Another group that's going to be competitive for, I think, that number 3 spot in Iowa behind Johnson and Lindmore.
Yeah.
Someone that I don't want to get lost in this is Prairie, because there's going to be a lot of talk of, well, Urbandale winning their second competition under Adam Brown. And, this is a show that even probably until the parent preview in December was in a very working state, I would say. This was a show that has come together very, very recently in the grand scheme of the season. And to have the success that they're having, Adam Brown stepping in, bringing a new choreographer with him, you don't really expect the first season like that to go swimmingly. Sometimes it doesn't, that's great. And I'll give Urbandale the flowers for that. Prairie is a group that has a very, very interesting they have interesting seasons every year, I feel like. They started off last season with a split caption win at Muscatine, but then they were never better than third the entire season. This year they start off, I wouldn't call it sneaking into finals, but being the bottom group in finals at a Linn-Mar competition that's probably one of the top 5 most competitive regional competitions over the course of the season this year. I mean, they'll later go down to Tupelo, Mississippi. Like, they're just a group that's hard to pin down. And to have this first runner-up result is something that they can put out there and be like, hey, like, we may be competing in Cedar Rapids and Des Moines and Tupelo, Mississippi, and here there, but by the way, we can mix it up with the best of them wherever we go. So I do want to give a big shout out to Prairie as well. And Waukee, you know what? Like, this is why we play the game. And I know that it's not a game. This is not sports ball, but this is why we do the things that we do. And you put 6 choirs out on a stage, and one week you'll get one set of results, and on a different week with a different set of judges, and maybe some different tweaks here or there, you get a different set of results. And I don't think this minimizes Waukee's show at all. I think this will still go down as one of like the Waukee shows that people remember for a long time. I don't think the road gets any easier from here for Waukee. They will face Ankeny Centennial at Waukee Northwest in a couple weeks, and then they will face Linn-Mar at Liberty Bibberty to end off the competition. So I mean, they're absolutely capable of doing phenomenal things, and I'm sure they hate to see this one slip through their fingers, perhaps, but that's just kind of how the day runs sometimes.
yeah, I agree. It was a good competition overall. I feel like there's some placements that obviously we didn't see coming, but I feel like this is a good chance to improve on the season. Um, I'm a big believer of like if you start high at a season, like that's great, but it's better if you start low and then work your way up to that number one spot. So I think that they'll really have chances to prove themselves throughout the season. And Urbandale, I mean, obviously, congrats. This was a pretty good win, regardless. So I think it turned out to be a good competition.
I just want to say I'm kind of keeping on the comments a little bit. We're probably for a while as results roll in only going to have time to take questions about groups that are competing this weekend. So I know like we've had questions about Mundelein, questions about Muscatine, questions about maybe some other groups. Hello to all our Lincoln East folks. We hope you're doing well. We heard your folks did not compete today because too many of you were sick. So please rest up, get well, and have a great competition next weekend. But as we get some results in, we'll probably only be able to take stuff on groups that competed today. So just want to throw that out there for a quick second.
Do we want to go back and go ahead and revisit the Standing Bear results?
Let's do it.
It seems good. So the results of this one, I know I read them off very hurriedly when they inbox. But in sixth place, Lincoln Southwest Emergence. Now that is not their prep group; that is their freshman group. So they outscored the proper prep group Ambiance to make finals. In fifth place, Berg Synergy. In fourth place, Elkhorn Excel. In third place, Pius the 10th Spectrum. In second place, Norse Gold. And in first place with vocals and visuals, Lincoln Southwest Resonance.
So the reports of Lincoln Southwest's demise were greatly exaggerated. Yeah, so they're back. They're back, and honestly, this is exactly what they needed. This is exactly what they needed coming off a disappointing result. Just a big sweep to get back on their feet, and they just got just that, especially going into a very tough Lincoln East competition next week, where they're right back in the mix. They're right back in the mix to do some great things in that competition. And also shout out Norris Gold getting second here over some very good groups such as Pius X and Elkhorn. I think they got in finals at Waukee, which is
results. Okay. Well, we'll keep talking about this, but we have Altoona results now.
oh nice. So yeah, Norris Gold very solid, getting into finals at Waukee, which is a very hard competition to get into finals at. And now this, I think they're coming. I think Norris is going to have a great season. I think they're looking at a very great year for that club.
Yeah, I would love to echo everything you said. It's important to get back in the win column for Lincoln Southwest. Sweep took care of business. But yeah, I mean, I think one of the big stories here has got to be Lincoln Southwest Emergence making finals over their proper prep group. That's just insane. I don't know how you handle that as a director. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of bragging and a lot of all that going on between those groups, and well earned for sure for Emergence. But it just a very, very interesting result there for Lincoln Southwest Emergence.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely going to be bragging rights for at least the next couple days. Getting two groups into your top six regardless is amazing. But having it be that freshman group, it kind of just shows you what the next few years of Resonance is going to look like, and that makes me super excited for the program. Like Dylan mentioned, they do have, they're up against Lincoln East next week. They're up against West in the Groove. They're up against Jenks Trojaneers, who are a super strong Oklahoma group, and I feel like they're gonna have to kind of, I don't want to say prove themselves, but keep their momentum going into next week and kind of see where that leads them.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna go to the.
Hold on, put in for a quick sec.
Go for it.
I do want to shout out a few groups here. Number one, Pius the 10th Spectrum. I've been a Pius fan for probably about as long as I've known that they have existed. I have a good friend that graduated from Pius, and this is Ian Mitchell's first competition as head director. So very good result for them. Berg Synergy, this is a smaller group that does not make finals a ton. Really, for the few years, they've really been only making finals once a year. If they can cash their once-a-year finals appearance here, That's great. I honestly would have had Lincoln Northeast at that 6, but I wasn't there. I didn't see what went on. And also Elkhorn Excel. Yeah, this is a group that has been through a lot. This is a group that has seen its membership dwindle once when Elkhorn South opened in 2010, and it is a group that saw its membership dwindle again when Elkhorn North opened in 2021. So this is kind of like an OG Nebraska choir. They've been through a lot. They did not have the best season last year. They did make finals everywhere they went, but I think there was a little bit left on the table. And to start off with a 3rd last weekend at Ralston and a 4th this weekend at Standing Bear just really puts not 1 foot but 2 feet in the right direction for Elkhorn Excel. It gets late fast when you're talking about good Nebraska choirs, but I think that Elkhorn, a few years removed from school splitting for the 2nd time, does perhaps have the juice to become one of Nebraska's good or elite choirs again.
Yeah, moving on to, you said you had the Altoona Lollapalooza results?
So I got a placement for a group, and I asked for full placements, and I don't know if I have them yet. So I know that Eau Claire North was 2nd place, which means that either Toma or Bloomington Jefferson won, and either Toma or Bloomington Jefferson was 3rd. I just don't know who was where.
Okay.
So I thought I was going to be able to get full results fairly quickly here. Here we go. Okay, so 6th was Chippewa Falls. 5th was Bloomington Jefferson Jive. 4th was the North. Oh, fudge, my notification disappeared right before it cut to 3rd. I'm going to see if I can pull up the top 3. So still missing the groups that I need, but let's see what I can do here. It's probably going to be a few seconds.
You're okay. Who are we predicting for Milton tonight? I know that's kind of, we just talked about it. It's kind of a up in the air a little bit in between like jam session and Makona. How are we feeling about that one? What are you guys thinking top 3 wise?
Okay, sorry, but can we cut back to
Go.
the results? So Toma was 3rd, and then Bloomington Jefferson took both vocals and choreo in 1st place.
Awesome.
So, I don't know.
Sorry, I missed the 1st place. Who was it?
Bloomington Jefferson Connection with vocals and choreography. Eau Claire North Northern Airs 2nd with best band. Toma Limited Edition 3rd. North St. Paul Northern Lights 4th. Bloomington Jefferson Jive 5th, and Chippewa Falls Chi High Harmonics 6th.
Yeah.
I think top 3 kind of. Oh, sorry, Ellen, go.
Oh no, you can go. I'm sorry.
You're okay. I think the top 3 kind of panned out as expected. Obviously, Toma and Bloomington Jefferson could have kind of either. Okay, well, don't. I think top 3 at least is what I was looking into.
Man, maybe I was sleeping on Eau Claire North, but I don't know if I had Northern Airs in my top 3 heading into this.
Really? Okay.
I Falls probably is my free group.
Okay, I can see that. But I feel like Northern Airs just like have had obviously no placements in the past or just very low placements. But going into this season, I had a feeling. I had a feeling that they'd be able to kind of pull it off, I guess. And obviously it paid off for them. And then Bloomington Jefferson and Toma, um, definitely had them both in top 3. I had the Northerners in 3rd. I will say that. But other than that, I think it kind of panned out how I was expecting it to. But again, I'm not as prominent in the Wisconsin region like obviously Will is. But yeah.
Yeah. Massive result for both our 1 and 2 groups here. Am I saying Eau Claire North? Is that how you're saying that right? Oh. Yeah. Wait, how did you pronounce that? I'm so sorry.
Eau Claire.
Eau Claire North. Okay. Yeah, Eau Claire North. That they're an up and coming Wisconsin group, and yeah, they proved today that they're coming. They're coming to be a contender in the Wisconsin group in the near future. I know they got into finals at Toma and then they beat two of the finalists, I think, from last year at Toma to get into finals of that, and then now they're second. They beat a very established mixed choir in Wisconsin in Toma, and they also beat North St. Paul, who's another established choir in the Wisconsin scene, despite not being from Wisconsin. But yeah, no, that's a huge result for Eau Claire North. Eau Claire, I'm sorry, I'm gonna butcher that a million times. Eau Claire North, huge result for them. Also, huge result for Bloomington Jefferson. I think this is their first win in a while. I think I'm not too well versed in Bloomington Jefferson history, but yeah, no, it's definitely a huge win for them. Huge start to their season. And yeah, this is another choir that's been up and coming in their respective region. And yeah, I think they're here to stay for sure.
Yeah, I first off just want to give a huge shout to Eau Claire North. I got a text from someone at Altoona today that is very established in the northwestern Wisconsin show choir scene, and she's like, "I think this is the best I've ever seen." And they are really only a group that started regularly competing 10 years ago when Rachel McElwam took over. Now Catherine Lofi is there, and this I think sets Eau Claire North up really well. They will head into Eau Claire Memorial Winterfest in 2 weeks. There they will see lacrosse. I think Sparta will be there as well. So, maybe not as high of a placement tonight, but I'm really looking at Medford at the end of the season. I think Medford is a competition based off the groups that are going there. It's kind of an anyone's game comp right now. I don't want to talk too much into existence for Eau Claire North, but I think we could be in for some treats from Eau Claire North at the end of the season here. Also, Toma, I'm going to give them a shout. They had a super memorable show, and I saw them at New London. Good podium finish for them here as well. And then also North St. Paul. This is a group that, while still, decent numbers-wise, I think is still trying to get on its feet after a director change before the 2025 season. So just a finals berth under their belt at the start of the season here is really good for their program as well.
For sure. And then Sooner State said that it is the first win for Bloomington Jefferson since 2022. So congrats to them, obviously, on a great start to their season. Let's see if there are any other Johnson's Showzam we already did go over, but we can kind of give a refresh of what.
Oh, this will also be posted to YouTube tomorrow or so. I don't know what the exact timestamp would be, but we'll definitely have this archived to catch our live reactions about Johnston.
Live reactions, yes. And then, did we want to go ahead and maybe do Sparta predictions? Because that will be running late. We might not be able to fit it into this, or do we want to kind of wait to see how that pans out a little bit more?
Oh man, I saw a Preble post on Instagram, and I mean it's public, so I'm just gonna put it out there. They put a center stage performs fourth and finals, 10:20 p.m. Awards midnight ? And I'm like, oh dear. That's just how show choir goes sometimes. But I've been there, and it's not fun. So we can. And I think Bloomington Kennedy has a pretty elaborate setup this year. So I don't think these finals will run on time. I think if they were assessing time penalties, Bloomington Kennedy would be in a lot of trouble. I don't think they're assessing time penalties at Sparta, so I think Bloomington Kennedy will be fine. And I don't think that's too much of a call out because I think anyone with a stopwatch can probably figure that out. So I mean, if we want to roll it, if we don't have anything new coming in, I know I think the last competing choir is on at Milton right now. Still a fair bit away from those awards, but we can certainly shoot the breeze about Sparta for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, who wants to start that one out? I know, Will, you're a Wisconsin human, I guess is what I was gonna say, but Wisconsin kind of contributor. But if anyone else wants to take it first and kind of give Will a second to judge us more on our predictions, then go ahead.
Very judgy.
I can take it, I think. So yeah, so this is a marquee matchup that happens every season, feels like. Onalaska versus Bloomington Kennedy. So back at the beginning of the 2020 decade, of like the 2020s, Rhythm and Gold, they were Onalaska's boogeyman. They were the boogeyman for Onalaska. they would always roll in, and Onalaska would always get so close to beating them. They'd a lot of times take that vocal caption, but they always came up just short. But then last year, Onalaska ended up beating Bloomington Kennedy. I think Altoona, and they might have beat them one more time. I don't remember quite that, but so yeah, the tables they turned last year. Onalaska beats Bloomington Kennedy. So now it's time to see who's on top. And now, so basically, who's on top this season? Who's on top this season? That's the big question. Bloomington Kennedy just came off a second place to Lacrosse River City Revolution, who's a group vying for the throne of best group in Wisconsin this year. They did take caption from them, so Bloomington Kennedy could be vulnerable to a push from Alaska, but I think I'm gonna put Bloomington Kennedy at my 1. Give me Bloomington Kennedy at the 1 with choreo. Give me Onalaska at the 2 with vocals. 3, give me Reedsburg. I think they're the most known quantity here. And I know they made finals at Holman, which is a very difficult competition to make finals in Wisconsin. So yeah, just give me Reedsburg. I think they're gonna show up and show out. I think they already won the best band caption, so that's pretty big for them. So yeah, I'm feeling a Reedsburg number 3 here.
Yeah, I'm so upset at you, Dylan, because you stole my exact predictions 1 through 3. I also think Bloomington Kennedy is going to take it here. I think Onalaska's just been a little bit vulnerable this season, to a few different results. Of course, dropping to Sparta earlier on in the season. Um, I think Bloomington Kennedy they dance too good. I think they're going to take that caption for sure. And I think they're going to take the overall first place. And then also I do have Reedsburg at my 3. Again, like you said, the most known commodity. So that's where I'm going to go with it.
I'm gonna be the devil's advocate here and switch you guys as 1 and 2, but keep your 3. I think that Onalaska obviously is very strong vocally. Last year they won best vocals at every comp but one. I know that they're kind of off to a rough start this season, but kind of as I mentioned earlier, it's okay to have a rough start. Doesn't matter about the beginning. It like depends on how you finish your season. Um, and so they placed, like, Onalaska placed first at all their competitions besides one last year, taking best vocals at every one besides the one that they placed second at. Bloomington Kennedy is a super strong choir as well. I think that they will take the best choreo caption. I think it'll be split between Onalaska and BK. But I really think that Rhythm and Gold is going to be able to take the second. But I feel like Onalaska will just have that edge.
Yeah, I don't see a world in which Bloomington Kennedy loses this, except a world in which they assess time penalties in finals, in which case but I did take a peek at the prelim score sheets, and there is enough of a gap there that I just don't. Onalaska would have to improve a lot, or there would have to be things that would go very wrong for Bloomington Kennedy. I think Bloomington Kennedy's probably going to win this one, and I think that you guys are pretty well on in your pick of Reedsburg at the 3. I think it opens up a lot more after that. I think your top 3 was pretty much where the cut was, or where the kind of divide was in the prelim scores. I do absolutely want to shout out DeForest here. This is another group. I think this is their 11th competitive season, because they didn't compete for a year during COVID. But this is one of the larger DeFortes groups that I've seen, and this is certainly the most put together DeFortes group that I've seen. Lyrica Daintel has done great, just kind of building this program up from like the absolute depths after COVID. I remember watching them, I think it was like 2022, and there were like 17 people on stage. And now I think they're in the mid-30s. They moved up from the prep division to the varsity division a couple of years after the pandemic, and now they have firmly arrived. They had made finals before at maybe some lighter competitions or stuff like that. But here we are in a competition with, I believe, 10 groups in the open mixed division. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, but 12 groups in the open mixed division. And I think there's a very good shot they come out 5th tonight, or maybe even 4th with a good finals run. To be in the upper half of open mixed groups at a competition as really like a third-year varsity mixed group is just an incredible achievement. So I do want to shout out DeForest for that. I think Eau Claire Memorial, they just seem to always be there. I don't feel like I ever Like I can't tell you the last time I've actually watched an Eau Claire Memorial show. Like maybe 2020 at Lacrosse Logan, is what I'm remembering off the top of my head. But they always are in the right situations and do enough, and have a good enough show to be in the conversation when it matters. And so I do want to shout out the old Abe's for that. So, okay, I guess if I had to predict, sorry, I realized I never did formal predictions. Bloomington Kennedy, give them both vocals and choreo. Onalaska at the 2, Reedsburg at the 3, Allstate Preble at the 4, DeForest at the 5, their Memorial at the 6.
Perfect. I'm trying to see if we have any new results, and doesn't really look like we got anything coming.
I
We
just
might. What?
I was just gonna say I just did a little skim. I didn't see
Okay,
anything.
perfect. Let's see what the live stream for Milton is kind of showing.
We
But
got the host group performing next. We're just like
perfect.
at a break.
A break. We have them get ready. So moving on from kind of the, obviously we just went over results or I guess
We did talk
predictions.
about Altoona for that string of comments. This will be archived on YouTube, so you can catch.
Yes. I guess while these all tuna kiddos come in, we can kind of do a um, introducing everybody. So my name's Courtney, and I cover Texas Show Choir for Homeroom. The one wearing the headphones, he's over here for me. I don't know if he is for you guys. That's Chris. He is one of our West Coast contributors. Down
It's
in
true.
this corner for me with a yellow wall, we'll just say that, is
Oh,
Dylan. He is an Illinois contributor for Homeroom. And then the crazy hair, we got William over here, who is our editor-in-chief for Homeroom, and he also covers Wisconsin Show Choir. Does that kind of give everybody a good look on here?
I think so.
Nathan said
Oh,
he's waiting for another Chris pop-off tonight.
dude, if anybody says anything about Oceanside results, just
Your
cover
days
your
are numbered.
ears. Your days are numbered. Watch your back.
Days and numbers is crazy. We got wow. Did any questions come in at all? Let's see on
So
that.
we have
Yeah.
6 questions in the box. I mean, I
Yep.
can just pick one and we can move on it.
Go for it.
This one has a like, so we'll go with this. What state do you think has the best high school show choir? I assume this person means what is the best show choir state, in your opinion, and not which state has the single best, so on and so forth. Who said that? No, I'm kidding. So what state do you think has the best high school show choir? Um, I'm gonna just start off since I was reading off the question. I I think that Iowa and Indiana have the are the deepest regions. Their 8th through 10th groups, are better than some of the second and third best groups in other regions. So I think that both of those are extremely, extremely competitive. I think I might even give Iowa a little bit of the edge in that respect. But I think that if we're going best for best, pound for pound, top groups, I think California has got to take it. I think the every year big three of Burbank, Burroughs, and Los Alamitos is just a 3 group punch that really only Indiana can rival, and I really do truly think that even though California groups have dropped to Indiana groups in the past few years, so to speak. I do think that the California Big Three are just the best top of a circuit.
I guess my pick for that. I think I'm gonna go Iowa. It's just deep. It's deep on every level. Deep small mix, deep like a deep top, like top of the line. I know you got your Linmar 1, Johnston 2. After that, Who knows? Who knows? You got your Ankeny Centennial, your Urbandale, your Waukee, your Ankeny Visual Adrenaline. I'm definitely forgetting one. Oh, Waukee Northwest. And then you also have a few groups that like are maybe below them somewhat, but like still can have some crazy good results. Like your Iowa City, your Prairie, as we saw tonight, and then your Cedar Rapids Kennedy groups like those. Just a lot of great groups, as well as as well as like the Sioux City region. I forgot about that. Sioux City East, Bishop Heelan. They both had great years last year. They're both on the up, and yeah, just a very deep region. A lot of different regions in there, and yeah, some of the most entertaining shows that you'll see in show choir. Just great. I think Iowa's the best region. Very close to Indiana, but I think I'm going to give Iowa the edge.
As someone who grew up kind of admiring like Midwest show choir, I'm gonna feed into Nathan's delusions here and say that Indiana is the best circuit and the best kind of produces the most talent on many different levels. Yes, Cali, yes, Iowa, but when you really sit down and look at like FC singers, you look at Center Grove, you look at like the Deb Tones, which I know is CG still, but like you look at the different levels of um just pure talent that comes out of these groups year after year after year. They are so consistent in being powerhouses in their respective divisions. And I grew up down the street from FC Singers and Center Grove. Like it's just the consistency there never really wavers, and that's something that is super important when looking at a whole region. So I definitely take Indiana as my pick there.
Dang. I think I'm going to have to fall into the Dylan school of thought on this one. Perhaps it's just because of geographical proximity, but I think Indiana show choir is certainly, it has some very defining traits about it. And I think that creates an opinion divide among national show choir observers in terms of liking it or not. Indiana is kind of ground zero for screens, which is one of my probably, honestly, it is probably my number one ick about show choir. And I just really can't deal with that on a personal level. And number two, I think, honestly, we have a comment of, quite the stacked metro area. I think part of the allure of Iowa to me is that the great groups of the state come from so many different regions. In Indiana, it's like, okay, well, all the metro groups go, and the metro produces an unbelievable amount of talent per capita. You're really hard pressed to find big metro schools that don't do show choir. I think Hamilton Southeastern is really probably the biggest one right now. And their middle school just got a feeder program. So, I think per capita, Indianapolis is right up there with probably Omaha as the kind of the mid-sized metro that has the most show choir per capita. But then really kind of it's like the exception to the rule if something like a Carroll or something like from the Fort Wayne area, Chesterton from the Northwest, or Castle from Evansville, if they kind of break in, they're kind of spoiling the party a little bit. Iowa, I mean, your contenders are a dime a dozen from every single different part of the state. You've got Lynn Marr.
We lost audio for you.
Yeah, we
Will.
lost audio.
Hold on, are we back?
Yes.
We're back.
Okay.
Yes.
I got a weird warning message about like stop making hand gestures, and I'm like, it's just who I am. But in Iowa, like you've got Lynn Marr from Cedar Rapids, and then you've also got Prairie, as we saw tonight, who had a very capable second place finish. We've got the traditional Cedar Rapids proper schools, Kennedy, Washington, Jefferson, and Xavier. You've also got Marion tucked in that metro right there, and then just down I-380, you've got Iowa City, which is home to three great groups with Iowa City Liberty, Iowa City, and Iowa City West. Just down I-80, you go one direction, you get to Davenport. You've got Davenport Central, Davenport North, Davenport West, groups like Muscatine, Bettendorf, even groups like Clinton, which is a growing program. You go down I-80 the other way, you get to Des Moines, where you have your Johnsons, your Ankenys, your Waukees, your Urbandales, your Norwalks, Indianolas, Dowlings, stuff like that. You get up into the northwest corner of the state. You've got your Sioux City East, your Bishop Heelands, and really, I mean, sure, does Waterloo not have any show choir? Yeah. Does Cedar Falls not have any show choir? Yeah. But and when you look at it, I mean, even like Pella, which is like a destination postcard Dutch windmill town, they've got an incredible show choir. So kind of the breadth and the depth and the diversity of Iowa show choirs, kind of what seals the deal for me, and also just the kind of top to bottom approach of it. Indiana, they have one school size division split, and it's at 1,500 kids. Iowa, they've got 3 different school enrollment cuts, and that generally I think like 540 maybe is the cut for 4A to 3A, and then it goes down from there. But it really encourages a lot of smaller schools to get out, groups that maybe would be more swallowed up in a scene like Indiana. So I would probably go Iowa. I would have to say Indiana's probably my number 2. I would say probably my number 3 is Nebraska, number 4 probably California, and number 5 Ohio in terms of individual states. I know the South is kind of handicapped by being split between Mississippi and Alabama. You put them together, I think we can have a conversation, but pure states alone, I don't think either has enough firepower to factor in.
All right.
Perfect. Let's see if there's any other good ones.
Yeah, we've got quite a few in there.
Yeah.
Burbank Blast predictions is crazy. That's in like 2
I
months.
just read that.
Do we even know who's going?
Let's pull up the sheet.
We could pull up the sheet, but
Millard West
yeah.
is still going on, so we do not have results for that, but make sure to stick around because we should pretty soon, and we will have our live reactions to those results.
Do we want to do Burbank Blast predictions?
Oh, yeah, we should. I think
Let's
that'd be
do it.
amazing.
Oh my God, I'm gonna
All
be
right.
upset. Okay.
Yes, let's go.
So tentative advanced mixed 1 participants include John Burroughs Powerhouse and Los Alamitos Sound Effects. Potential advanced mixed 2 participants include Glendora Royal Stewarts, Cypress High Voltage, Carlsbad Sound Express, depending on where they fall division-wise, Bonita Vista Music Machine, and La Cueva Underground. Potential intermediate choirs include Valencia Just for Show, Carlsbad, depending on which division they're in, and Oceanside. And then novice participants, Esperanza Reverberation and Palm Desert Summer Breeze.
All right. I do want to add, I think Horizon Step on Stage from Arizona is also slated to go. They're not on the sheet, but I'm pretty sure they're slated to go here.
I think at one point at least they were slated to go. I don't know how they actually decided if they're going or not, but I do believe they may factor in it. And if they do, they would be in the mixed tier 1 division in all likelihood.
Yeah.
All right. Well, who wants to start?
I'm pulling up the spreadsheet so someone else take it for a second.
Oh. Dylan, you want to go or should I go? We'll probably leave Chris to clean all of our mess up at the end.
Yeah.
I guess I can take it. I really only know what's going on in Tier 1. I'm going to be very real. I think for Tier 1, give me Los Al with Choreo. Purely because, actually, no, Burroughs does have a combo under their belt at that time. You never know who's going to win between these two. I'm going to go Burroughs at 1 I think I'm going to go Burroughs sweep. Here. Los Al at the 2. And then I'm going to go, what's the other? Horizon at the 3. And then for my Tier 2, I'm going to butcher this. Sorry, Chris. Bonita Vista at the 1. And
Close.
then
Almost. Vista.
Time to drink some water.
Bonita Vista
Yes.
at the 1. La Cueva Underground at the 2. Who else? Oh, Glendora. Actually, Glendora at the 2, La Cueva at the 3. I think that's all of them. And then go below that, no clue what's going on. Sorry.
What weekend is it?
I
It's
see
March
March
7th.
7th.
So I will take a crack at this one. I'll say Los Al just to be different from Dylan. First place in Advanced Mix 1. I have no rationale besides I want to be different than Dylan. So please don't clip that. Group number 2 in Advanced Mix 1 will be John Burroughs Powerhouse. in my predictions. And Group 3, potentially, if they are going there, is Horizon Step on Stage. In the Advanced Mixed 2 division, Glendora, they did undergo a director change at the beginning of this season. I don't think they'll miss a beat. I've heard only good things about their new director, so I have them penciled in for the win. And this is where things get very, very interesting. Because you have La Cueva, who probably has historically performed the best out of these groups. You have Cyprus, who is I would say, a bit of a newer blood-ish group in Advanced. And then you have Carlsbad, who you don't know if they're going to be in Advanced or not, because they kind of sort of floated between both last season. You have BV, and yeah, so I will probably I'll take Cyprus at the 2, I'll take La Cueva at the 3, and then I'll throw Carlsbad in there at the 4 if they choose to compete, and then Bonita Vista in there as well. An intermediate, assuming it's all one division, because you never know, there could be a split, I'll take Los Al Connection, then John Burroughs Sound Waves, then Oceanside Sound Waves. But if Carlsbad is in intermediate, I'll put Carlsbad above Oceanside. And then, and also, if Valencia steps up to intermediate, I don't know if I would put them above Oceanside or not. But if Valencia sticks in novice, and they split the novices between the prep groups and the regular groups, otherwise I'll just get both of those out of the way. I would probably go Valencia, Esperanza, then Palm Desert, because I don't know anything. Much of anything about Palm Desert. I know this is going to be their second season competing, so that's
From
Yeah.
someone
Oh no, you go.
okay, from someone who knows nothing about California Show Choir besides that it's insane. Um, Chris is gonna probably. You guys are all probably gonna end up flaming me. Let's put. I don't know. I'm just gonna throw words out there at this point. Powerhouse in the 1. I don't know how. Yeah, I know. Chris is looking at me like I'm a crazy person.
No, you
Um,
actually that's actually totally fine.
oh, you just had to freak me out and make me feel bad.
Yes.
I'm gonna put Powerhouse in the 1, Sound Effects in the 2, and then I don't know, my 3. Those are just gonna be my top 2. That's all I'm giving you guys because I'm very scared of Chris of how passionate he is about California Show Choir, and I have to work with him for the rest of the season, so I can't have him hate me yet.
No, it's all love. It's all love.
Yes.
Um, I think in the Tier 1 division, Burroughs and Los Al tend to go back and forth at these competitions. I really think who wins at Burbank Blast is really a good sign of which of those two will be better for the rest of the season. I think I'm going to go with I think I'm gonna go with Los Alamitos at the 1 at Burbank, and then I'm gonna go John Burroughs at the 2. I mean, until you see their shows, it's really really hard to know which of them is going to win. Interestingly enough, who wins between those two is very often comes down to show design, um, and just what show design is more potent at that time because they're just so talented, vocally and choreographically, although very different. Um, and I've heard amazing, amazing things about Los Al's show design this year, and I know that Moana Derlin will be out for blood, so to speak, um, at her first year at the helm of sound effects. So I think I'm going to go with them. They're a little bit more of a solid bet early season, and I know March 7th as early season probably sounds insane to some of y'all, but that's just is what it is in California. This is an earlier competition in our season, so that's where I'm going to go with that. And then I'm going to go Horizon at the 3. You know, that's the last group there in Tier 1. Horizon is a great group, but they're just not going to be competitive with Burroughs and Los Al. Not many groups are. It's not a knock on them at all. In the Tier 2 division, I'm going to go Glendora Royal Stewards at the 1 with best vocals. I think that's about as sure of a thing as you can get in this tier two division that will be complete chaos, I promise you. Number two, I'm going to go Cyprus. Cyprus had just an incredible um like breakout show, I would say, last season where they started off a little bit rocky. They dropped a loss here or there to a few groups that you're like, and then they ended up coming in and taking second place at Oceanside over, La Cueva, Valley Vista, big groups, Carlsbad even, who ended up taking home the best vocals caption there. And for all intents and purposes, I have zero doubt that they will. Sorry, let me rephrase that. I am extremely confident that they will be better this year than last year. They are keeping their team, their star-studded choreography team of Karina Alfora, a young choreographer. She's amazing over there. And we also have Eric Hall, Dominic Matas, big, national choreographers, to name a few. I believe they actually may even have more choreographers than that. I think they have one choreographer per song, if I'm not mistaken. I think they're going to be really, really good. And La Cueva, on the other hand, has been very competitive. Even taking best showmanship off of Burbank in sync back in 2024 at Heart. I just think that after the disappointing season they had last season, I haven't heard much about their numbers returning to the normal amount. I have heard that they're scaling back a little bit in terms of, they're going back to tracks. They did have a band, but they are going back to tracks. Um, and they're just taking a step back. They're kind of regrouping this year after a disappointing season last year. And as you know, like with La Cueva, they're a New Mexico group. There are really not many competitions out that way. So when they come out here, it's for one or two competitions total. So those results at their California competitions just matter so much and really influence what their approach is for the next year. So I see this as a bit of a rebuilding year for them. Um, so that's why I'm going to take them at the three. And if Carlsbad is there, then I will take Carlsbad at the three, and I will take La Cueva at the four, and then Bonita Vista. But in this tier two division, I really think, besides Glendora winning best vocals, which I think is about as big of a lock as we can get this early on, I think it's going to be a bit of a bloodbath there. And then could you remind me intermediates?
Yeah, so intermediate right now, Valencia if they opt up, Carlsbad if they opt down, and then Oceanside is probably the only one on this list where I say you are for sure going to be an intermediate.
Yeah, yeah, I imagine Valencia will stay down in novice, so we're probably looking at a Carlsbad versus an Oceanside matchup, and I think this is just a classic. If Carlsbad is down there, I think this is a classic Carlsbad first place music, Oceanside second place show. Um,
That's a classic.
well, they do compete against each other fairly often, and I've seen that play out a few times. Oceanside is a great dancing group, generally speaking, and Carlsbad is a great vocal group, generally speaking. Um, Obviously, Carlsbad snagged best music in tier two at Oceanside last year, so I think that that will hold over. And then in novice, I do think that Valencia will be just a little bit too much for the other groups to handle in the novice division. They're big. They're a big group. They're very powerful, and they come from a great school. So um, that's where I'm going to go for the novice division.
For sure. Um, Responding to Tay's comment, we don't have Milton results yet. I think they're doing their transition from their exhibition into the awards part. So we should have those hopefully within the next, I would say like 10-ish minutes. We should have final results of Milton. Do we want to go ahead and predict the top three for Milton?
Let's do it.
Okay. For my top three, I had you guys will do better than me. It's fine. I had jam session in first. So, is it Pure? yeah, that's a Will thing. That's a Will question. De Pere High School. Am I
Yes.
saying that right? Okay, perfect. So De Pere in first, and then I had Waconia. Am I saying that one right? You guys
Uh,
got some weird named cities.
yes. Waconia. Yes.
Waconia. Okay. I have Waconia in second. I have Jam Session taking best vocals and Waconia in with best choreography. And then Ellie will be happy with me for this. I did put Tonito Grace in third. They were fourth, I believe, going into finals. So kind of a flip there needs to happen, but I think that they'll be able to pull it off. They're a really strong program. I've seen them pull it off in the past. So yeah, those are my top three.
Can we take a quick moment? We just got a comment that said Legacy just did so good at Millard West. And this makes me a little bit concerned because everything I saw said that Sioux Falls Jefferson Legacy was supposed to perform at 8:45. And if they just got done, that things have gone off the rails a little bit. So if you could provide a little bit clarification as to how recently Legacy did performed, we could
That
be
would help.
wow. Yeah, okay, just that quick cut in. But anyways, I'll let Chris and Dylan take a swipe at these as well.
All right, so my top three, I had De Pere at the one. I actually had Wabanzi at my two, and then I had Waconia at the three. Wabanzi, I was very impressed by Wabanzi's show. I thought it was a step up from the past couple years. I was impressed by their vocals, and yeah, I think Melissa O'Neill's cooking. I think Wabanzi's coming. I think Wabanzi might be on the come up. I think we'll see how this result goes tonight, but I think they could very well be dangerous going into later in the year. Um, Captions, these could go a billion ways. I'm gonna predict one caption split, and it's gonna be completely different. Give me De Pere at the one with vocals, Wabanzi at the two, no caption, Waconia at the three with choreo. And yeah, I think De Pere was just the most polished group I've seen today. I I thought their choreo was polished. I thought their vocals were polished. I think Waconia is going to get choreo because I think their choreo is also very polished, and I think it's a little more difficult than De Pere's. So I think they're going to get the edge there. But yeah, De Pere, great show, best show I've seen for them. I've seen a couple of their shows live at Sock a couple years back, and yeah, no, best show I've seen from them ever, and they definitely deserve all the year they're having so far. And yeah, I think they're going to take the win.
Yeah, I'll keep it going because they are lining up and getting ready for awards over at Milton. I'm gonna put this out here, and if I'm right, all of you owe me money. I'm going first place, the Pure Jam Sess, zero captions. I'm going second
Well,
place,
they
Wabanzi
disbanded.
Valley. Well, banned. Fake caption, but I'm kidding. I give me Wabanzi at the two with best vocals, and give me Waconia at the three with best choreo. I think a no caption win for De Pere is in order here. Wabanzi Valley and De Pere, to me, both very similar groups. One is a very, very strong singing group. One is a very strong choreo group, and then their weakness is the other thing. And I think De Pere is the most well-rounded, and I think they'll take it.
I'll throw this one back to the Sauk Prairie Executive Session Invitational 2023. The results of this one: De Pere first with Best Band, Sparta second with Best Choreography, and Fort Atkinson third with Best Vocals. How I think Milton will play tonight: De Pere first with Best Band, Waconia second with Best Choreography, and Bonzi third with Vocals. I think, having seen both De Pere and Waconia last weekend at New London, I am just very hesitant to put any groups between them. Obviously, both shows have time to grow and change, and it wasn't like a 0.5 point gap. There were a couple points in there, but I would just keep De Pere and Waconia together one way or the other. As for a stab at a 4, 5, 6, I will say Sauk Prairie 4, Totino Grace 5, Monona Grove 6. I did not watch any of the finals live stream, for the record, so shooting from the hip a little bit, but
We will take it. I believe they are starting finals right now at Rock the Rock.
they're doing showstoppers.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Yeah, I see medals getting put on people's necks, which usually does not signify a place. Really is a showstopper type deal. So
I
they
would love to bring attention to a comment in the chat at Milton Rock to Rock, a little bit up from Pamberger. A comment says Joe Ingles. And that is just ball knowledge I was not expecting to see on my on my screen right now. And yes, that is literally ball knowledge. Joe Ingles, my least favorite basketball player in the NBA.
Joe Ingles is
Um,
least favorite basketball player.
yeah, I'm a Clippers fan, obviously, and a Kawhi Leonard fan at that, and he did unforgivable things to my boy. So,
Well, another comment in that chat says Zach Kinzinger, and that is very elite ball knowledge. Zach Kinzinger, De Pere High School graduate and current Wisconsin Badgers men's basketball player. So that is elite ball knowledge. I'm gonna have to step away for just a second, but I will be right back.
sure.
All
The Joe
right.
Ingles.
You guys are killing me today. So we have 4 competitions left. We're currently getting, one, two, three, 5 competitions left. How are
Getting
we
down to it.
feeling with almost an hour and a half left? We are aware that we're not getting Sparta results tonight by the end of the show. We kind of have been watching that, and it's on Alaska set to go on at 11:20 p.m. Hopefully they're running somewhat close to time, but even then it'll be super close for those results. So I think Sparta would be out. But we still have Hastings, Milton, Millard West, Grenada, and Hastings, I believe.
Hastings is terrifying.
Yeah.
Something crazy always happens to that one. So,
Yeah, that's a little scary.
I don't know if I like the word terrifying, but I do like the word chaotic. I think chaotic is a bit more of a neutral word to describe the things that go on there. Because things do happen there every year, as you said.
I feel like Hastings is a little scary.
Well,
They're all just everywhere right now. I feel like the hardest ones to predict always come down to the end.
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I don't think that's necessarily wrong, but I think that's just more of what makes it fun.
Yeah, we're here for hype moments and aura pretty much exclusively.
Yes.
So this is the part of the show where I feel like we thrive.
Yes.
Oh, for sure. This is the most exciting stuff. We did cover Beaver Creek last week. It should be posted on our YouTube if you want to go back and see our results to that. That was a fun comp to kind of react to and see what happened there. That was an interesting one, but it was also super fun.
Oh,
That
we
is
have a
by the
trophy. We have a trophy being handed out.
yes.
Here, Wabanzi just got 5th.
Oh. Sorry.
Great. Well, we're doing this. We're doing the things. I'm watching words on mute, and I'm trying to. Okay, who just got a trophy? Those people are not in costume. Sock maybe. Looks like sock third maybe. Totino 4th, sock 3rd maybe. I'm trying to figure out who's getting what by costumes.
Somebody, okay, that's watching with sound, can you please inform us on what's occurring?
Yeah. Okay, this is a plaque. So that looks like a caption. Who does that look like? Those are people in De Pere jackets. So De Pere just got some kind of caption.
Okay, here we go.
If the
This
second
is Wisconsin's
This is best
Oceanside.
vocals plaque. So the other one must
Okay,
have been best something.
best core, yeah.
Oh,
And
here's
the
Yes.
pure again.
Okay,
oh,
so just
must be ahead of me. Oh dear! Wow! Wow! Ooh!
we got something.
Yeah, man. Watch them hand this to Waconia right now.
Ew.
This is
Or
a trophy, right? Yeah.
the zero caption win.
All right.
Okay, all right.
So we'll lock it down. We'll head straight into Milton results. Oh, in sixth place, Totino Grace, Company of Singers. In fifth place, Wabunzi Valley, Wabanonzi, Bonzi, whatever you want to call them. All love to the people at Wabanzi. One of my favorite college football players, Troy Fumagalli, went to Wabanzi. More ball knowledge for those
Ball
people.
knowledge.
In fifth place, in fourth place, the stage is just chaos on the Milton live stream right now. It looks like one of those old like Harlem Shake era flash mobs. In fourth place, Winona Grove Silver Connection. In third place, Stock Prairie Executive Session. In second place, Waconia Power Company. Vocals, Visuals, and Band, De Pere Jam Session.
Bang.
Dang.
Yay!
Have you
So-
seen that Charlotte's Hornets announcer? When
Yes.
LaMelo Ball shot like a logo three, he goes, "From Sheboygan!" I don't know how close Sheboygan is to Milton, but I'd like to think
It's
that they're
probably not
nearby. From Sheboygan.
Yes.
Yeah, wow.
I do also want to point out that theoretically we should have Millard West and Gretna East results in any minute if both of those ran on time. So we should be coming in the pipe for a couple more. I'll just give some thoughts off rip for this one. This is huge for De Pere. They took one caption last week, or they took two of the major free captions last week. They take three of the three major captions this week. And they say, you know what? We beat Waconia at New London last week. And some people may say, oh, you know, New London is only an hour away from De Pere and this and that and whatever. And then De Pere went to Milton and also saw Waconia and also saw Totino Grace and also saw Wabanzi Valley. And they said, you know what, we're going to make our show better. And I think, you know, the importance of this is hard to overstate for De Pere because this is a group that is not facing Onalaska this year. They're not facing Sparta this year. They're running the Eastern Circuit, which is where they should be geographically. They're just not seeing, or they're not seeing lacrosse either. So seeing any of those main Western groups. And this is as well as they could have done. They will next compete on February 15th, which is a long ways away, or not February 14th. Sorry, and that is a long ways away. But to sit in there, they'll go into hosting in 2 weeks with 2 grand championships in the back pocket, a show that you know can beat regional powers like Waconia. They will go to Monona Grove and they will be the favorite there. They will go to Marion. And I don't want to talk about them beating Gretna East because I don't think that will happen, but I think they will contribute to what is probably a Comps of the Week lineup at Marion. And then if Green Bay Southwest happens, they will most likely clean that competition out as well. I think we're potentially looking at a 4-win season for De Pere, which would be far and away the absolute most successful season in program history. I think, you know, really you could look at maybe 2024 or 2025 as that title, but I just all the love and support to all those students, all those band members, all those crew as well. I would highly recommend watching their show on the Milton live stream back if you don't. Waconia in second. You know what? Sometimes you just got to say this group has our number this year, and they are going to go into Bloomington Kennedy next weekend, and they will see Sparta. They will see Sioux City East. They will see Hastings. They will have no room for error again, and so I'm sure that they will continue to bring their A game to a lot of these competitions. And Sauk Prairie, man, I think that on the whole, this is probably the best result that Sauk Prairie's had as a program since the 2023 season. Last year, their best result was third at Onalaska, and in 2024, their best result was third at Monona Grove. I would argue that neither of those competitions were as deep as this one here. You know, for a group that has not been in the win column for a couple of seasons, I don't know if they will have an opportunity to do so. They will see De Pere at Monona Grove. They will see Davenport North at Fort Atkinson, which is a very capable show. I have no idea who's going to Biloxi, but dang it, if they can sing well, I think they've got as good of a chance as anyone to take that. So Sauk Prairie, I absolutely want to give a shout to as well. I know I'm jabbering, so I'm going to kind of cut this short. Monona Grove in fourth. Man, this is a program that when I saw them at the beginning of the 2024 season, I'm like, what happened to the Monona Grove that I knew and loved? It was just, I'll say it straight up, like it was a rough show. It was not close to making finals, and I mean the sheets prove that. This is a group that from then to now has done a ton. They are now one of the very few groups schools in Wisconsin to also field a mixed prep group. Alaska and Neenah are the only two, I believe. And so this is a program that's really thriving, and it warms my heart to see Monona thriving after the Nahirniaks retired. Lori and Taras had been there for forever. Brooke Krigo, Eric Gemfner really taking the reins of that program and doing good things with it. As a Wisconsin purist, it just absolutely warms my heart to see Wisconsin groups 1 through 4, or one, 3 and 4, and then really kind of winning their respective battles, pushing some of those out-of-state groups down to 2, 5, and 6. I don't think the sky is falling for Waubonsie. In fact, I think that's very well. And I didn't even predict Totino to make finals. So getting there with Tori Hornby, I mean, I think this is her first experience with show choir on the whole. I know she came from Cottage Grove, which is not a school district that has competitive show choir. And I don't know if she had any show choir experience in high school or college. So, to kind of be fresh into this deal and lead a group to finals at a big competition, I do want to shout out Totino as well.
Yeah, man. This just looks like something that I was talking about last week about just some more Wisconsin dominance. They have faced out-of-state challenges a few times and have come up on top each time thus far. I'm really shocked at the Waubonsie Valley fifth place here. I I did only see their prelims, but I just thought their ballad was an absolute standout. So I'm very interested to go back and maybe watch that finals footage and see what happened there. But big shout out to Waubonsie Valley. I thought their vocals were amazing, and I'm sure this is disappointed, but I do think that this is a huge result for De Pere, and it can't be understated, as you said. 2 wins in a row for De Pere is significant on its own, but given the caliber of groups that they're coming out on top of, that
I don't know
is
if everyone
just
comps before. Now that you say that,
wow.
I think this is
There
the
you go.
everyone back-to-back comps.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
and they have a shot here of like running the table. They could have an undefeated season this year.
No, they're not.
Um, Wait, sorry, what?
They are not beating Gretna East. I hate to be a downer, but
Oh,
Oh,
I did not realize Gretna East was there. Sorry, my fault. Um, but they could have a four out of 5 win season here. Um, Again, it could be the most successful season in De Pere history. Big shout out to Monona Grove for coming out on top of Waubonsie and on top of Totino Grace. I believe that is a flip flop from prelim results, if I'm
no
not
idea what this was.
mistaken. Okay,
Pre,
maybe that
pre
was just order that we assumed was
finals order, I'm pretty sure was random.
okay. But that is, I still do believe, a pretty big result for them to get one over Waubonsie Valley, who, has had kind of an upstart season last season coming up on top of some pretty good groups. And, they still seem as solid as ever. So really, really big placement for Monona Grove.
Yeah, like like we've all said, huge win for De Pere, huge win, just huge win for that program, huge win for the state of Wisconsin. Waconia is one of those groups that just come into Wisconsin and pretty much run the table every time they've come. So it feels like recently. So just seeing De Pere take down Waconia, that's huge for Wisconsin. Again, it's good. It's also cool to see Totino Grace make finals here. They're a group that's had a lot of turbulence recently, and yeah, they're still here to contend. They're still going to be contending for a lot of good placements, a lot of good finals placements. And Waubonsie Valley, I still like Waubonsie's chances this year. I think they still have a lot of season left, and I think while I like their show, I think there's a lot of room to improve on their show, and I think if they can make those improvements, then I I like their chances. Sure.
Tornado Grace, my baby. I had so much faith in you. Um, Amazing job by De Pere today. Sweeping your second competition of the year is not an easy feat, let alone winning back-to-back competitions. Waconia Power Company. Obviously, I had them taking a caption here, but at the same time, they still showed up. And then Executive Succession was not in my top 3 prediction, but was in my finals predictions. So I kind of saw them falling in 4th or 5th here. And obviously, they got that 3rd place spot, which is amazing. But yeah, I feel like the whole Sauk Prairie, their treble group and both their mixed group did really good today, and obviously putting awards on the board for them early on this season.
Yeah.
I think, what did they say? They said Gretna East results are coming, or Grenada is coming in soon. I know we were waiting on that.
Anything about South Jones? We covered South Jones in the first hour of the program, so this will be posted to YouTube, Homeroom Show Choir on YouTube, and you will be able to find our commentary on that. Did we get Johnston? Yes, the final results for Johnston. We also covered this earlier, but just to rip those one more time, since I guess the final results are not up on showchoir.com right now. The winners of this one, taking both the vocal and visual caption, was Urbandale Studio, 2nd place Prairie the Ambassadors, 3rd place Waukee Millennium, 4th place Sioux Falls Roosevelt Executive Session, 5th place Indianola Side 1, and 6th place Norwalk Sound Revolution. So those were the final results of Johnston.
Looking ahead into Grenada, you have Linmar 10th Street Edition, you have Revolution from Grenada, you have Adrenaline from Elkhorn North, you have Blackout from Elkhorn South, you have Infinity from Millard North, and Free Spirit from Papillion. I can never say that right. Papillion La Vista High School. Who do we think is taking the top 3 before this comes out?
So first of all, it's Gretna, not Grenada.
Why do I keep saying that then?
I would love to see Grenada Visions here. My day is brightened anytime I see Kyler Pittman on stage. Shout out Kyler Pittman. I hope you have a good role in this year's Grenada show as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. I'll let you get back to what you were saying.
No, you're good.
Who's coming out on top? Linmar has reached until proven otherwise category, and well, I don't know if tonight is the night where they will be proven otherwise. I could be very wrong. I never formally put down my answer for our best set we've ever seen discussion earlier, but it's all a little providential because the best show I've ever seen, or my favorite show I've ever seen in person, is Gretna Revolution 2024. I cried so hard that a Gretna parent in the stands next to me asked me if I wanted tissues during the show. Not even after the show, just during the show. You know, like kind of nudges me a little bit, like, hey, like, you know, you want a tissue? And I'm like, no, it's gonna be okay. If anyone can do this outside of Iowa, I think it's gonna be Gretna. It's their first competition of the season. It's also Linmar's first competition of the season. Nobody has any barometers for competition this season of the top 2 groups, so just kind of throw my hands up and say, you know, Linmar has earned the right to be my prediction champion. Otherwise, I'm assuming finals was off of reverse prelim order, and frankly, I think the Elkhorns could flip. I think Elkhorn South could jump Elkhorn North. I also think that Millard North could factor into this conversation. I mean, they were great last week. 3 to 5 is kind of a hornet's nest. Just kind of throw my hands up and say whatever happens, happens.
Yeah. So, in my eyes, Gretna and Linmar. Linmar 1, Gretna 2. That feels pretty solid to me. But then, like you said, 3 to 5, hornet's nest. Absolutely, just a huge hornet's nest. Anything could really happen there. I think I'm gonna go Elkhorn South. I think I'm gonna go Elkhorn South. They had a huge win last weekend against Sioux City East. I think they've proven that they can step up when the time is needed, and I think they're gonna do just that here in finals today.
I have to agree. Sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay, I have to agree. I think that 10th Street will take it, but I definitely think it'll be really close to the Revolution. And then I did have Blackout in 3rd. I do think that these Elkhorns will switch. But yeah, that was my predictions earlier on.
Yeah, I'm going to put Linmar at the 1, Gretna at the 2. I'm going to put Elkhorn South at the 3. We don't have any differences there. I'm going to say Linmar drops a caption today. Um, I think that if there ever
Will Kellerman,
were
you
a
stop this
time,
with me right now. Get off my phone.
Skip. I just think that I've heard rumblings that this isn't the strongest Linmar show, and it is very, very early on in the season. This is where things could get weird. I don't think it is necessarily has any bearing on how Linmar will do for the rest of the season. I think that they will win this competition. I think they will win every competition this season from here on out. But I just think it's going to get weird today. It's going to get weird tonight, and I think that I'm going to go with Linmar dropping any caption. And I'd also like to bring our attention to one other thing. Via the transitive property, if Elkhorn North result does hold over Millard North, Elkhorn North is now better than Amazing Technicolor Show Choir.
Buddy.
Good old transitive
Buddy.
property.
And that's why
Good
it's
old.
not a rule, because its truthfulness can be a little flimsy at times. But
Whoa.
yeah,
I do think that this isn't the strongest 10th Street edition that I have seen. I'm not a huge fan of the set this year. Um,
wow.
no, it's just maybe we'll see. Maybe it'll transition better onto a stage, but seeing their preview, I just wasn't a fan personally. Do I still think that they're a super strong show choir? Yes. Do I still think they're very choreographically and vocally like insane? Yes. As for set design, I just don't know if it's the best show that has they put on stage. So
All
They
right.
had it coming.
I
They
mean,
had it coming.
I'll do a deep pull and say if we're talking like favorite Linmar shows, like I'll take Yellow Wallpaper, which I know is like a bit of a distant memory at this point, and perhaps
Classic.
was not the undefeated juggernaut that some of these recent shows have been. But I'll take Yellow Wallpaper. I mean, I think there's a lot of everyone at this point in the season, and I would just like to wait a little bit longer to make a final call on
mhm.
this is
Oh,
one of the Linmar shows, this is not one of the Linmar shows, etc. So we've got results. In sixth place, Papillion La Vista Free Spirit. In fifth place, Millard North Infinity. In fourth place, Elkhorn South Blackout. In third place, Elkhorn North Adrenaline. In second place, Gretna Revolution. And in first place, Linmar 10th Street Edition, Best Vocals, Best Choreography, and Best Band.
Where are you finding this?
I got my sources.
Sources. True.
Well,
Yeah, that's true. We do.
Linmar does what Linmar does.
Yeah,
Will does what Will does.
true. I feel like this was not shocking at all. I feel like this was kind of all predicted here. Um, Linmar does it once again. It's a great start to their season like normal, and we will see where it goes from there.
yep.
Yeah, big result for Elkhorn North though.
Hmm.
Blackout Elkhorn South has kind of been on a little bit of a tear lately. And Elkhorn North not so much, but they come up ahead of their presumed rival. So big result for Elkhorn North there. That's kind of the thing that jumps out to me the most.
Yeah, I think this is the season that a lot of people around the country learn the name of Elkhorn North. This is a very young program, and I know I've said that about probably 4 different programs so far tonight. But in the truest sense of the word, this is a school that did not even open until the midst of the pandemic in fall of 2020. So, there's not this long history of success or anything like that. And they did well. They started off their first season by making finals at 4 or 5 competitions that they attended. And I believe they missed finals. They missed once last season at Hastings in a competition where a lot of things happened. And they burst onto the win column at Elkhorn last year. They swept Carthage, Norris, Scott, Blair, and Maryville, and then returned to the win column at Grand Island, where they dispatched who else but Elkhorn South and Elkhorn. So they established themselves at the end of last year as the best of the three Elkhorns, and at least at the beginning of the season this year, they are continuing to hold serve in that category, except it appears as though, and this is why I just really love being in it for the love of the game, it appears as though all three Elkhorns have gotten better this year. And that's really what I love to see, is that we see Elkhorn excel, who we talked about earlier when we did the Standing Bear segment. Again, all of this will be available on YouTube, Homeroom Show Choir, hopefully tomorrow, but at the very latest, sometime early this week. So you'll be able to and listen to all that. But now we're talking about Elkhorn South and Elkhorn North. And I think that all three of these groups have better shows than we had last year. And it's just phenomenal to see. I think Elkhorn North is one of those groups that will do a lot on stage this year and will really make a lot of heads turn and be like, oh, you may only be around as a school for 6 years, but I really need to pay attention to what you're doing on stage because it's really good. So I am also super pumped for Elkhorn North. I feel like we can stop putting them in like the overperforming category and just put them in the like, you've earned your stripes, you're here kind of deal. So that's great as well. We do have a comment that says 22 Millard North Infinity kids are sick with the flu right now. Yeah, that is what happens. We know that Lincoln East actually had to drop from this competition because of sickness, and it's winter and it's flu season, and sometimes you just got to take your lumps and move on. There will be another New Year's Eve in the future, so if you're you just kind of got to pack your bags, head back home, and go at it again. So those are some of my takeaways from it.
Yeah, I remember I said last week that we might be seeing a big shift in the balance of power in in the balance of power in Nebraska, and I think that's still happening. I think it might be happening like all over in like every tier of Nebraska. I think Elkhorn North, they're proven. They've proven that they can beat Elkhorn South. They beat Millard North. They're one of the best. They're one of the most solid groups in the state. They're a solid contender anywhere they go, and yeah, I think that matchup between them and Elkhorn South, that's gonna be a bloodbath all year. I think that might be a back and forth little matchup we have going on there. Millard North, I'm interested to see where they go from here, especially knowing kind of like there's a little bit of a difference in their results, and then also the comment that they were all sick. A lot of them were sick this competition, so definitely interested to see where they go. I still think they can be one of the best groups in Nebraska, so I'm definitely really interested for them.
Chris, do you have anything, or did you already go?
Oh, I already went.
So going back to Millard West.
Oh wait, hold on. Sorry, I
Go.
just saw one thing that I would like to mention. Millard North Illumination over Linn-Mar High Style. That's crazy. We're good.
Anybody else want to comment on that before we move on?
Millard North Illumination, they're becoming one of, if not the best, treble groups in Nebraska. I remember last year they got second at Chesterton. They beat Mount Zion's girls. They beat Brandon. They beat who else did they beat? Who else was there? Westfield. They beat quite a few girls groups to get second at that competition. And then they're solid win contender everywhere they go. They're one of the best girls groups in Nebraska. They're a contender pretty much anywhere in the nation as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say that this was unexpected. I think it's just kind of a difference in how programs are structured from region to region, because generally in a lot of Iowa programs, your varsity mixed group is the number one group, and then if you have the people to do it, your mixed prep group is your number two group, and then your women's group is your number three group in the program. We see this in some programs like Johnston, Urbandale, Ankeny was like this for a long time. Now they actually have three mixed groups because they transitioned intensity from a women's group to a mixed group, which, if you have the guys to do it, I am absolutely all for that. But in Nebraska, generally, in some programs, you'll see the varsity mixed group and then the girls group and then the mixed prep group. That's the way you see it at Millard North. That's the way you see it at Elkhorn South. That's the way you see it at Millard West. I would say probably Papio South is kind of the exception to this, and then also Papio because they just decide to have two single gender groups instead of a mixed prep group. But I mean, I wouldn't necessarily read too much into it. If anything, I would say I'm surprised that High Style was this far up, because they come in as being the third program in the third group in the Linn-Mar program competing against a bunch of kind of second groups per se. So if anything, I think that High Style punched above its weight tonight, or today, I guess.
Thank you for schooling me, Twin.
You're welcome.
Telling us all about it, huh? Do we have any insight into what we're doing with Millard West right now? I think we're about an hour behind on awards.
Oh,
Uh,
we got a comment
14
saying
karat gold, one in Hastings. Let's see. We can get
Hastings.
well, I mean, that was probably who I would have picked to win. I think
Yeah.
West last week was really good for 14 kg. I mean, they have the guns to do it on the leadership side. They have Jeff Vildahl on the directing side. They have two Jordans on the choreography side. And I don't know if Grand Island Ultimate Image has the juice this year. If I had to take a guess at the results, I guess this will just be predictions unless we had a late comment with the rest of the results. But knowing who won, I would say probably Grand Island 2, Kearney 3, Lewis Central 4, Lincoln High 5, and Aurora 6. That would be my blind shot in the dark. There is no live stream for this comp, and also things seem to happen here every year. Predictions for what's going on. I believe in Kearney. I really do. So they don't compete a ton, but when they compete, they make an impact. So
yeah. I will say Kearney's girls actually won their division against Lewis Central and Grand Island Seniors girls, so that doesn't always translate to mixed, but it could very well translate to mixed today, for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I can see 14 karat taking this. And then everything else for me is kind of just like we said, it's kind of a like toss up, but also like we have our ideas of who we're gonna kind of pick. But I truly think that I can see 14 karat winning, and I'm excited to see what it comes down to, like caption wise. Hastings results are posted. Let's see.
They're in the comments. That's it
Oh, they're in
now.
the comments. Okay, so 14 karat
Oh,
sweeping.
those
Sure.
Sweeping. And then in second, we have Chain Reaction. Third, we have Ultimate Image. Third runner up, we have KHS Pops. Fourth, we have Corporation. And fifth, we have Rhapsody. One of you guys want to take this? I know Will just freaked out. So let's see what we got.
I am really freaking happy for Lincoln High.
Yes.
Yeah.
That even as little as 5 years ago was a complete afterthought in the Nebraska Large School Division. I mean, they were really just kind of hanging out there as like a Burke or Bryan or Benson type program. They had struggled to really hold down a director for more than a year or two. If we look at immediately after the pandemic, Marquez Lamberty, who was there, I believe when he was finishing up his grad school time at UNL, brought them to a couple of really solid finals appearances, which were a really good step forward. Colton McCauley came in 2023, and he has steadily grown this program. He's grown this program from one mixed group to a mixed group and a women's group to a mixed group, a women's group, and a competition, and now two mixed groups in a competition. So, and great placements like this. Like, I could not tell you the last time that Chain Reaction was second at a comp. Okay, it was actually at the end of last season at Lincoln Northeast. I just fact checked myself. Thank you, Snopes. Please hire me. But this is one of the things that happens at the Hastings. For whatever reason, things happen at this competition. And Lincoln High, I am ecstatic for them. This, I would argue, is one of their best results in recent memory. And also Kearney hanging strong, outpacing Lewis Central. It's a good feat to outpace Lewis Central. And Kearney, they don't travel a ton to Lincoln or Omaha. I don't know if they have any trips to the metros on their calendar this year, but when they compete out in central Nebraska, they really do well. So I want to give another shout to Kearney.
Yeah, I will. I'll be the first to admit that this is not my competition where I have a ton of knowledge, but I am pretty surprised to see Lewis Central dropping all the way to fifth as they did at Glenwood Gala earlier on the season. it seemed like they were the Lewis schools and Lewis Central in particular as well had some pretty good results last season. So I'm pretty surprised to see that. And also just another a little bit of a run of dominance from 14 karat gold here. So I'm really interested to see how the rest of their season's going to go.
Yeah, I don't have too many results past what you guys said. I think you guys summed it up pretty well. This 14 karat gold, they're on their tear. They don't look like they're stopping anytime soon. And then also big results for Kearney and Lincoln High, two smaller groups that may go unnoticed. They're definitely making their name known tonight. So very good results.
Something that I do want to kick in here, heading into this competition, 14 karat gold entered with 15 and a half recorded wins all time, and ultimate entered with 15. So, Grand Island Northwest had leapfrogged Grand Island, at least in the recorded win totals, after their win at Lynx last week. Now they put another one on their crosstown rivals. So, or maybe not crosstown, but I know it's just a little bit of, maybe not a rivalry, but certainly groups that are in the same geographical proximity. Looks like we've got a live feed of Millard West results. We've got 6th place West Side Simply Irresistible. We'll see if any more placements from Millard West drop into the chat.
All right. That seems normal so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Not freaking out about that yet.
No. I'm sure I'm going to be twerking in a second about these results, but we'll see. Somehow I've been surprised multiple times every show.
So
Center stage at Sparta.
That's 4th group. So we've still got 3 performances to go then at Sparta.
Yeah, we're not making it, guys.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to make it. I think Sparta has officially claimed the title of latest competition of the weekend this week.
Do we know when it was supposed to end?
Like 10 or 11, I think.
All I know is that I think prelim awards were, like maybe 60 to 90 minutes behind.
5th place Legacy.
Wow.
I assume Sioux Falls Jefferson. That's pretty far for them to drop, I would say.
That's well, I would argue that it's or because they posted prelim. They posted prelim placements. They were 3rd, but also I mean, you're dealing with 2 Millard South and Omaha South that absolutely have the juice to make it happen. So 4th Millard South.
Let's see.
Okay.
This is
the teardown will be fine, guys. We'll be
we'll be great.
They don't need me.
Omaha South in 3rd.
3rd place.
Okay.
So this leaves Papio South and Omaha West Side, which I think are the 2 groups that most people thought would be in the top 2.
Yeah.
This. Thank you very much for commenting these live results. I mean,
thank you.
This is the best for us to kind of get them as it happens, and you get the most authentic results.
For sure.
Even if there's not, anything super duper groundbreaking, but if there's a flip for first, I think it's there are gonna be stuff and things that happen. But yeah, so currently 6th Simply Irresistible from West Side, 5th Legacy from Sioux Falls Jefferson, 4th South on Stage from Millard South, 3rd Omaha South the Ambassadors, and 2nd place Papillion La Vista South Titanium, which by process of elimination leaves Amazing Technicolor Show Choir from Westside High School in Omaha, Nebraska, as the grand champions of Millard West Music Lives 2026. I will start the conversation off by saying that this is a title defense for Westside. They turned back Brandon at this event last year, and this year now they complete the win over Papio South. First win of Andrew Jacobson's tenure at Westside.
This reminds me a lot of the Lincoln Southwest win earlier at Standing Bear. This is exactly what they needed. They needed a good old-fashioned sweep over some rivals in the Metro, and they did just that. They got the momentum on their side. Andrew Jacobson has proven that he can win comps with Westside, and Yeah, I don't know who. Oh, no, they go into Urbandale next. I think that's their next comp.
Yeah.
That's they go against Linmar and Johnston there. If they're probably not beating Linmar, but if they can
Chris, I
beat,
look at this and I'm like, yeah, I'm probably in there,
Ooh.
but like, not.
yeah, that's definitely brutal. If they can make noise there at all, those like that would be crazy. But that's just a brutal comp to go into next for sure. But yeah, no, ATSC, they're still here. They're still around. And they're still going to be dangerous for sure.
100%. I think they're definitely one of the rising show choirs that are being more popular and more known outside of like the Midwest region. I think that they're gonna have a run for their money next week, and they'll be able to kind of see where they're at more of a national level rather than just a regional. But obviously a big win for them. It's what they needed going into this. Um, it was definitely rough seeing them fall to third last week. I don't think that I personally predicted that fall, but either way, this is what they needed to kind of get back on their horse and continue their run this season.
Yeah, I mean, it's a just taking care of business. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
So really, really good from West Side. I wasn't super worried after the results last week. Really big kudos to the two groups that placed ahead of them, but it did feel just a little bit fluky. Early season, first comp of the season, um, with a brand new director after their director leaving and having been there for so long. I think West Side is going to be just fine. In regards to Urbandale and Heart of America Orlando, though, that's rough. I don't even know, ATSC in their prime would have trouble there. So, I think I think that they're gonna have a good season, and they're gonna be a great, great group. But this was a win that they needed to get, and they got that shiny blue one on their record.
So this extends ATSC's winning streak to at least 18 consecutive seasons. And I say at least because the year the streak ends is 2006, where results are not readily available on the internet. But for all intents and purposes, I mean, they've been winning seemingly forever. This is their 16th win after the pandemic. I mean, that's a lot. And so I think if people had questions about the direction of the program, et cetera, I mean, I don't necessarily think that those questions have a ton of legs on them. I don't think that we'll be seeing this, dramatic shakeup, or if we do, I don't think ATSC will be a part of it. I think that they will be fine. And I also, want to give a shout to the second place group here as well, Papio South. I don't necessarily know if this is anything besides what a lot of people expected. I think a lot of people expected that they would have a show to stick up in that top two, and I know that this is a program that has recently seen the infusion of Jackson Roberts' leadership into the program. Kind of a young gun who's ready to bring things to another level. And Titanium will be in Omaha South in third. That is a great result for them at this point in the year, because this is one of those groups that gets better as the season goes on. And so for them to show up and take third and already be beating Millard South and already be beating Sioux Falls Jefferson, they will rip into Omaha West Side next week. Yes, they will face Bishop Heelan. Yes, they will face Elkhorn South. Yes, they will also be a very good group in their own right, and I would not be worried about them at all. So,
All right. I do want to add, Westside did get all three captions: best vocals, best choreo, best band. So clean sweep there.
Much is expected, I feel like, in this lineup of groups. I feel like they were gonna take it. So
Yeah.
obviously, great result for them. Looking forward to next week because we don't really have Sparta results yet. What competition are we looking most forward to? Personally, I'm looking forward to Sioux Falls Roosevelt Executive Showcase because that is the start of the Texas Show Choir season. We have Southwest Effect from Fort Worth Southwest High School going and competing. They're going up against Uncaged from Hastings, Eclipse from Harrisburg, Eagle Express from Aberdeen, Legacy from Sioux Falls Jefferson, Classic Connection from Sioux Falls Washington, and Bellevue West Connection. Oh, Innovation from O'Gorman. So super stacked lineup there. So that's probably who I am most excited to tune into next season. What about you guys?
Um, yeah, I think the competition I'm most excited for is Bloomington Kennedy for a variety of reasons. First of all, it's an excellent lineup. We get the likes of Sparta, Sioux City East, Waconia, Hastings, Bloomington Jefferson coming off a big win, Totino Grace coming off a nice placement. North St. Paul had a nice placement this week, if I'm not mistaken. Bemidji is one of the better groups in Minnesota as well. Um, I think that this will be an all-out bloodbath. Someone good is going to miss finals here. Someone that you would think could win will not. And I'm very, very, very excited for it because of that reason. Secondly, I'm very excited because I'm going to this competition. I am leaving my 65-degree sunny weather and heading over to that, 20 degrees on a good day, and which it will be a good day. Thank God. Um, of weather over in Minnesota, and I would just also love to shout out the students over at Bloomington, and also of North St. Paul and all of those groups in that area right now. It's an extremely tough time in that Minneapolis metro area, and it's a beautiful thing that all this music is still happening around all the chaos of the world. So really, really big shout out um, to everyone there. I really do hope that this competition goes through. Um, all signs point towards yes, but things are getting weird. Schools are having some trouble and stuff like that. But I think that the music that this is going to bring is going to feel just feel so refreshing for a community that's just faced a lot of hardship in the last few weeks and months.
Dylan, I've got three lined up, so you go and hopefully you take one of my three.
All right, I'm gonna go with it. Bloomington Kennedy was mine, but I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna go Davenport North. This is a very stacked competition. Davenport Central, Wheaton Warrenville South, Valley Correlation, big time top three here. And I think some big storylines here. Davenport Central, Keith Guimar, their new choreographer there. How is that going to factor into that? Is Davenport Central going to connect with his style? That's by their first competition. Wheaton Warrenville South also has some results, also has some shakier earlier season results. They start a little slow. So can they still get a win despite that? And then Valley Correlation, they're going to sing their butts off, but will that be enough to take the top spot here? Yeah. So yeah, big time top three. I will also say Illinois groups are kind of cursed at this competition. I feel like a lot of times they come here, they don't do well. Decatur Elite Energy, RIP. They came here 2022. They got third. El Paso Gridley, they got third here in 2023. I was there, not a good feeling. And then 2025, Naperville North comes here and gets fourth. Wheaton Warrenville South's probably the strongest challenger from Illinois to come here. Will they break the Illinois show choir not doing too well here curse? That's something we gotta wait and see what happens. So yeah, very big competition here at Davenport North.
All I'm going to say is that it seems like Valley Correlation finds an extra step when going against out-of-state competitors. So I know they've beat Onalaska multiple times. I know I've got messages about that, people saying that Valley didn't have a good show and this and that. And I always have to shut them down because I like my Wisconsin people, but we get a little headstrong sometimes. And I don't think sometimes people from Wisconsin recognize what goes on in Iowa, but Valley just seems to have it when they go up against good competition from other states. I'm going to split my time into two here. I don't know. Theoretically, if Sparta results come at the early end of that 30 to 45-minute window that I believe was commented probably about 5 minutes ago, that means that we'll get them right at the end of the show window. If not, I don't know. We might have to stay up a little late for them. The first one I want to highlight is the Tantascwa Spectacular that is happening in Massachusetts. This is the kickoff for the New England season. We will see New England's top three groups here. Daniel Hand finished the season as New England's top group last year. Waltham was a very, very close number 2, and then South Windsor was number 3 in that. And then we will also see this Monster 9 choir small mix division. We will see choirs from Massachusetts. We will see a choir from Pennsylvania. We will see a choir from Rhode Island. We will see a choir from New Jersey. So we have all of these kind of different worlds colliding. We have Scranton First Edition from Pennsylvania, Bishop Hendrick and Paramount from Rhode Island, Hillsborough Legacy from New Jersey, and then a smattering of Massachusetts groups, Dartmouth Dynamics, Shepherd Hill Fantasy, Ignition, and Natick West Street Singers, and Oliver Ames Nash. So we are going to see a good battle up top in large mixed, even if there are only 4 choirs in the division. And we're also going to see a gigantic battle in small mix. I think there are some very good groups there. Natick is a group that's had numbers these past few years and definitely seem to be teetering on the verge of being able to move up. Bishop Hendricken is always small but mighty, and Scranton, they seem to kind of run. And when they get on, they get on. The question is, can they get on at the beginning of the season this year? So Tantascwa is one I'm looking at, and I'm also looking at the Olentangy Keynote Classic. This one features Center Grove Sound System from Indiana alongside a veritable cadre of Ohio contenders. Among those include Marysville Swingers Unlimited, Loveland by Request, and Fairfield Corliers, along with Robert C. Bird from West Virginia, and then also Twinsburg and Hayes Valley hanging out in large mixed. Also a very interesting small mixed division, 2 choirs from West Virginia and 2 choirs from West Virginia, 1 choir from Ohio, and 1 choir from Indiana. So there's a lot going on here. The big deal is, look, Marysville took a choreo caption off of Cedar Grove last season. A, can they do that again? And B, can they go so far as to beat Center Grove? And the answer to those questions is nobody knows. And that's why we do this. And it seems so abstract in the moment, and it's just, oh, can Group A take a caption off of Group B, or can they beat Group B? But what we're talking about is shows that are phenomenal, shows that are great, and there's just going to be a lot of good action on the stage. I know Loveland's 3rd place at Beaver Creek last weekend had some people talking about a Loveland Renaissance. They'll have a great opportunity to showcase their product on stage. Once again, next weekend, Fairfield is going to be starting their season. They only have a 4 competition slate this season, and they certainly didn't choose easy competitions to run and hide at. So Fairfield is going to be throwing themselves right in the mix here as well. 1st through 4th here is going to be super duper duper competitive. There are going to be 5 mixed finalists. So whoever grabs that 5th mixed finalist spot, congratulations, and just enjoy the honor of being attached to a finals round that has those other 4 groups in it. So I would say, in addition to, I would say Davenport North was the other one that I had at the top of my mind. So probably my top 3 are Davenport North, Olentangy, and Tantascwa. Although I certainly, am not trying to talk down on Sioux Falls Roosevelt, which Kortney mentioned, or Bloomington Kennedy, which Chris will be attending. So those are probably a couple of my looking ahead picks.
I feel like it'll definitely be a fun weekend next weekend, because like we've all kind of mentioned, there's a lot of big names in show choir going to a lot of different competitions. So we'll have to keep our eyes out for multiple competitions, multiple flips, multiple maybe upsets. So I think it'll be a fun weekend for sure. Do we want to do predictions for Edgewood next week? It's in Indiana. So you have Beaver Creek Friends, Red Hot Hurricane, in Tier 1, and then Tier 2 you have Legacy from Ross High School, Charisma from Lebanon, Vocal Point from Columbus, the Valley Sound Waves from Owen Valley, Royal Rhapsody from Roncalli, which I know is a favorite, and then Pendleton Tones from Pendleton Heights in Tier 2.
Fate of the universe on the line. Martians have the death beam pointed at the earth. I want Beaver Creek Friends.
Let's
Um,
think of what you just said.
no,
Uh,
I think Hurricane's gonna take this. But I
yeah,
would
I
love
would
Beaver. I would
say
love Beaver Creek to come out on top. I love their name. Um, I've said it every week. I love Beaver Creek friends.
Yeah, I would say so. There is, I appreciate this contest because they are not splitting small mixed and large mixed into different finals because they very easily could have said, oh, there are two choirs in large mixed. You guys are just going to get shuttled off into your own finals. No, they're opening it up so that if any of the small mixed groups can take the fight to the large mixed groups, we will see that reflected in overall placements. And I do think that Roncalli will bring the fight. I saw this Roncalli 2025 show at the end of their season at Isma State. It was a very quality production. It left no doubt in my mind after they performed that they would be the winner of the competition. Do I think they beat Hurricane? I don't think so. Did Hurricane have probably a result that they thought they could do better of last weekend? Yeah, I mean, they were fifth at Beaver Creek. It was the first time they weren't on the podium since 2017. And what that reads to me is we got feedback from judges that we can improve our show with. Because if you were in fifth place, that means that the judges put four groups ahead of you, and probably if you're a director, you can look at the sheets and say, okay, we were behind in blend, or we were behind in cleanliness of choreography, just to pick a couple categories, one vocal, one visual that's on the sheet. And we can go back in rehearsal, and we're going to have 2 weeks, and we can go and workshop it and make sure that we are up to speed on those categories. I think that edge will be what puts them over the top at this competition. I think Roncalli will be second. I think Roncalli, they act like a large mixed choir, but they're in small because of ISMA's stupid school enrollment categories. They're a private school. I think there could perhaps be some kind of enrollment factor that gets looked. Um, I would say Beaver Creek is probably a good shot for third. Looking at the rest of the small mix division, there's nothing that necessarily jumps out to me. Well, I take that back. Columbus North just won. Um, Pendleton was very good at state last year. I would say give me. There are five mixed finalists here. Six. There's six mixed finalists here. I would say give me Hurricane at the one, Roncalli at the two. I'll take a swing and say Columbus North at the three, Beaver Creek at the four, Pendleton Heights at the five, and this six spot between Ross and Lebanon is going to be tight. Give me Ross Legacy at the six.
I have pretty much the same prediction as Will here. I think I'm gonna go actually, but I do think there is a chance at a caption split between Hurricane and Roncalli. I think Roncalli's they have a very big chance to punch up here, really prove that they belong in any competition, no matter if they're competing usually in the Tier 2 division. So I do think I'm going to take Hurricane at the 1, Roncalli at the 2. I'm going to go Hurricane best choreo, Roncalli best vocals. And then I'm going to go Beaver Creek at the 3, um, Columbus North at the 4, sorry. Pendleton at the 5, and then I'm going to go Ross at the 6, I think.
You want to go or you want me to? Chris.
I mean, I just don't know. Unfortunately, this is not my area of expertise. But I mean, I think Hurricane is gonna come out on top here. I think Roncalli will be a pretty solid second, and then I think I'm gonna go Beaver Creek at my three. And beyond that, I mean, I would love to see vocal points lock down that four spot, but I just don't know enough going on past that.
I would say I'm in the same boat as Dylan and Will. I do think that you have Red Hot coming in first, and then you have Ron Colley, and then I do want to say Beaver Creek in 3, and that's just me being hopeful, kind of. I think that they're great. They're one of my favorites.
Makes sense.
So I mean, I would put them in 3 right now, And then from there, I'm kind of just all over the place. So I kind of agree with all three of you in a way. So. There was a question earlier, and I think we were like in the middle of getting results, so I kind of skipped past it, but I wrote it down. It said, "What like out of state comp are you most looking forward to?" So I'm taking that as like in our own regions in a way. So like what competi I'm taking it as like not necessarily a group of ours that's attending, but just overall, like, what out of state competition are we kind of looking forward to watching because it's not in our typical areas?
Yeah.
I will.
A competition. This isn't in my area at all, but I'm very excited to see what happens here. Auburn in Alabama. I think Will might be going to that one because, yeah, Homewood, Grenada, Petal, and who's the other one? Oak Mountain. Four insanely good groups. Four of the top Southern groups. Who's gonna come out? What's gonna happen here? Who knows? Who knows what happens here? This is gonna be a smackdown. It's gonna be a pure smackdown,
We
and we
just had
might.
that today at Hoover.
Oh yeah, we did. But Auburn. This is gonna be it's gonna be a bloodbath, and it's gonna like really set the tone for when these Southern comps go out, diverge into their national competition. That's gonna be a huge tone setter for that. So except Oak Mountain, they compete at their national before Center Grove, but for the rest of them, huge tone setter, huge bloodbath comp. I'm very excited to stay up till 2 a.m. to see how this goes down.
I think I'm gonna have to go with the easy answer here, and that is Chesterton. Big shout out to HOA Orlando as well. That's gonna be a big one for me. But I just think Chesterton from the top down is going to be brutal. You one of Carroll Magic, Franklin Central, FC Singers, Carmel Ambassadors, Wheaton North, uh, Brandon High School, Cosby, Gretna. Actually, two of those, since there are five finalists, will not be making the finals, and that to me is just speaks to the absolute unbelievable strength um, of this division, or I'm sorry, of this competition. And not to mention one of the best treble group lineups of the year, far and away. Carol Select Sound, has been known to be a giant slayer of sorts. And you have Carmel Accents, Brandon Bellas, Franklin Central High Voltage, Cosby Rhapsody, just an absolutely brutal treble division as well that I'm super excited to see. Um, and yeah, I just some of just my favorite groups just end up here. I those who know me know I love Carroll. They know I love FC. And for those to be, some of the big contenders in that division, it's a comp made for me. Chesterton seems to have really figured it out. Their competition the last 2 years has been fantastic, and I believe it will continue to be a Wheaton South level competition year after year, and become a classic national-ish. What do we call that? We had that conversation before. A local national or national by competition and all that. So I would have loved to make the trip, Nathan, but it's right in the middle of Diamond Bar's prep time, so not gonna happen, unfortunately.
So for me, I am actually going to attend this competition. I'm super excited. Me and Nathan have been talking about it a few times now because I'm excited about it, I guess. Um, Brownsburg Bulldog Spectacular happening in March. You have Franklin Central, you have Carmel Ambassadors, you have Westfield, you have Avon, um, you have Glenwood Titan Fever, Mitchell Friende Coup, Zionsville, and Newcastle that are all set to kind of come. It is still a tentative schedule, I believe, but even, tentative, it's some of the best in their states, some of the best in their respective regions. And I haven't seen a lot of them in person, so I'm excited to actually kind of sit back and have that, I guess, experience. Um, but you definitely have some competition there. Zionsville, Mitchell, FC, I think, and Carmel could all kind of battle it out for the top three. Um, and yeah, I'm so excited to go in person.
My pick here is going to be the South Omaha Classic. This is on February 21st in, Omaha, Nebraska. The main draw for this one for me is the three-headed monster at the top of Millard West, Omaha West Side, and Papillion La Vista South. These are the three legacy groups. You know, before Lincoln Southwest was a dominant force, before Lincoln East had their magic happen, before anyone from Lincoln was really making waves, before kind of new blood programs like Gretna or Gretna East or Millard North or Elkhorn North or Elkhorn South, since that school didn't open until 2010 anyways, kind of came in. It was West Side, it was Papio South, and it was Millard West. And Millard West came onto the scene a little bit later as well, but all three of these programs still producing phenomenal shows. Added into the mix as well, you have Millard North Infinity, who, as I showed last weekend, is capable of great things. You also have Lincoln East Express, who the jury is, excuse me, the jury's still kind of out on what a healthy Lincoln East can do. Grand Island, Ultimate Image, and also Papillion Vista Free Spirit. So plenty going on in this one. I am excited to go out, just make a little weekend trip out of it. Have not been to Nebraska in too long. The last Nebraska competition I saw was in 2023. So it has been a hot second. I am excited to get back, and I'm excited to just take in a fantastic weekend of Nebraska Show Live.
For sure. I'm also excited for the Urbandale competition because you have basically like the big three going up back to back to back. You have ATSC, you have Johnson Innovation, and you have Linmar, who are all insanely different in their own ways, but also I really feel like they're also triplets. I feel like I don't want to say it could go anyway because 10th Street, like Will said earlier, is on that I'm going to win until I don't streak. But I'm excited to see how that one pans out on February 14th. Sparta, last I know of, on Alaska was still on stage. And then somebody did say that they were waiting on the doors to open to the gym.
We just might get those results.
And there's no host exhibition at the end of finals.
We might get them.
We might get them.
Slated to go on at 11:20. If they somehow kept this thing on schedule, I will eat my words about Bloomington Kennedy because I have it on good authority that they ran a little over the window during prelims. But it looks like they had the girls group go in the morning and they had the mixed group exhibition go at the end of prelims. So no host exhibition at the end of finals. I think we're definitely in the market of getting them before we hit midnight central. We did have a recent question, opinions of the Hoover Smackdown today. We actually led the show off with that. So if you are willing to watch it back, this is going to be posted to YouTube tomorrow or very soon. Thereafter, hopefully early this week. Morgan, I know you also posted a comment earlier that said Albertville predictions. I don't know of that many groups that are going to Albertville. Right now, my entire list that's going to Albertville is Vestavia Hills and Hoover. And of those two groups, I would take Hoover. But I assume there are more groups going than that. I don't know how you're going to run a competition with two groups. I mean, you certainly can. But if you have any other groups that are going to Albertville, feel free to drop them in the comments and we can try to make the best of it. Also, opinions on Hastings Tiger Clash. Boy, the four of us had a lot of them. We covered that probably 11:15ish. So once it's posted to YouTube, look for just after that 2-hour mark, and you can get our live reactions to Lincoln Chain Reaction placing second. Anything else in the question box that you guys wanted to rip?
Yeah, so we have prediction requests for Bloomington Kennedy and for Tantascwa. Maybe we could rip those while we're waiting.
Yeah.
Do it.
We can start with whichever one you'd like. What are we thinking?
Let's do Bloomington.
All right. I hope she's still here. This was probably sent in like an hour ago, but
Oh, no.
but let's take a look.
We have Hastings Riverside Company, Waconia Power Company, Sioux City East, the headliners, Vocal Motive from Bemgee, Jefferson Connection from Bloomington, Northern Lights from North St. Paul, Toledo Grace, Sparta, and Memorial Old Abe Show Choir. Wow.
Awesome. So honestly, big story for me here today. Not today. This isn't a week. The big story here is Sparta. They had they had a great result at their first competition. They beat Onalaska. They beat a very strong Sauk Prairie group. They got second. Then their second competition, they kind of fell a little back to earth. They got fourth at that competition behind very great competition, but that was maybe not the outing they were looking for after that Holman showing. I what I do what's going to happen with them here? That's my question, because Waconia, they've proven vulnerable to strong Wisconsin groups. Sioux City East, they're a question mark because they their only competition, they got swept by Elkhorn South. There's still a question mark. And then we also have, so Sparta. I do. What's going to happen with them here? What's going to happen with them? That's my biggest question. I do think Hastings is going to win here. I think I think they didn't they kind of had a slow start. They always do that. So I think that machine's gonna start getting running it here at this competition. I think Hastings is gonna take the number one spot. At the number two, I'm gonna go Sioux City East. I think they're gonna have a little bit of a rebound here. At number three, I'm gonna go Sparta. I think I think they're gonna have a very strong rebound showing here as well. Four, Waconia. Five, Bloomington Jefferson, and then six, I'm gonna have Totino Grace.
Yeah, finals awards expected in about 5 to 8 minutes. I don't know about all the other three of you guys, but just since while we're on the topic, I would be willing to stay a few minutes afterwards just to address these. So I don't know if you guys are all cool with that. No
I'm
obligation.
I'm cool.
Yep, we're good.
Let's rock.
Okay. Here are my predictions for Bloomington Kennedy. This is just an impossible top four to decipher. I think I'm going to go with Hastings in first place. Um, I hated it as soon as it left my mouth. Um, I'm gonna go Sioux City East in first place. I'm gonna go Hastings in second. I'll go Sparta in third. I'll go Waconia in fourth. I'm going to go Bloomington Jefferson in fifth, and I just have a soft spot for this group, so I'm gonna go North St. Paul in the sixth place. It's probably a bit of a long shot over Bemidji, over Totino Grace, but that's what I'm gonna go for my last finalist.
So I actually am gonna put Hastings in first. I hate it, but I just have a little feeling, I don't know. So Hastings gonna go in first, with Power Company. No, not Power Company. Nope. Um, let's do Sioux City East in second, Bloomington Jefferson in third, Sparta, Power Company, and I'll do Toledo.
Wow.
Oh boy.
Okay, guys.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do here, and I will also put Hastings in first. But I do not hate this. Hastings is a great program. Luke Warren is a phenomenal director. I have no reason to hate putting Hastings at first. This is one of those competitions where you look at it and you're like, okay, there are three, maybe more, maybe four shows where they're good enough to be a first place show at this competition. And I don't think that's something that you need to hate. I think that's something that you're like, this is something where the reaction on the teardown next week is going to be pretty legitimate. I'll put Hastings in first. I will put. That's unfortunate. Oh dear.
Dylan is gone.
I
My
believe
last one.
the phone might have reached the end of the juice for Dylan. But I will put Hastings.
3%. Hold on.
Yeah, you go. The stream dies. Goodness gracious.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, get back here, man. I'll put Hastings in first. I will put Sioux City East in second. Look, we realized by this point that Elkhorn South is a very, very good show choir. So I'm not going to hold getting swept by Elkhorn South against Sioux City East. I'll put them in the 2. I will put is my 3-4. This is where it gets really, really dicey for me because these are 2 very similar groups. They are 2 Kevin Chase groups. If I could do a 3.5 for each of them, I probably would. But at this point, I will probably still say Waconia at the 3. I'll go Sparta at the 4. I will take Totino. I'll take Bemidji at the 5 and Totino at the 6. And it feels wrong leaving Bloomington and Jefferson out of finals after winning the competition.
My goat is back.
Knowing how tight it was at Altoona tonight, I think Bemidji has a chance to come in as a debut choir for the season and knock a lot of socks off and make finals. But this is one of those classic Bloomington Kennedy lineups where you're like, yep, finals all the way up and down is going to be very, very tight. So, yeah.
I will say, just like to shout out Sioux City East real quick, that New Orleans themed show that they did a few years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago,
might have been Tom. Oh yeah.
One of my favorite show designs. I loved that show, and I believe they have that same choreographer, Mike Weaver, still. So they're one of the groups I'm most excited to see, and I feel like if they're at their best, that's why I take them there.
Yeah. Sure. No, I certainly don't disagree with that. Have we talked about Gretna? Well, this will go up on YouTube. So tomorrow or Monday, look for the Homeroom Show Choir YouTube channel. And what time did we even talk about those? What time did they come out? Like 10:45 maybe?
Yes.
Something like that.
So look at like roughly the 1 hour 45-minute mark, and you should find our discussion. We did take several minutes to discuss those results. Oh dear, that is close by. I'm so sorry if you guys can hear the siren that is going off outside my apartment right now. Very inopportune time to have a siren going off at 11:57 p.m., but sometimes that's how it will be. The opinions on the Hastings Tiger Clash will be posted later on YouTube. They are part of this stream, so we're going to take this whole thing and we're going to put it on YouTube. We're going to be sticking around until we get Sparta Burst of Adrenaline results. Hopefully those are due to be up in roughly now to 3 minutes if things ran on time. So hopefully we will get them soon. You never know. Sometimes things happen that prevent results from being presented right away. Thank you, Gabe. You got us. No, we did just talk about Olentangy a little bit ago. Chris, we have any other questions in the question box?
Yeah, I just put one up. This is the Tantascwa prediction request. So maybe you can rip that one really quick. We have Daniel Hand Vibe, Andover start to finish, South Windsor, Choral Spectrum, Waltham, Music Unlimited, and then in Tier 2 we have a slew of groups, including Dartmouth Dynamics, Shepherd Hill Fantasy, Leominster Ignition, Hillsborough Legacy, Natick West Street Singers, Oliver Ames, Panache, Bishop Hendricken, Paramount, and Scranton First Edition from the Electric City. Yeah, who would like to take it first?
I'll take a swing at this one. Large mixed, I'll just shoot it straight. I think Daniel Hand is going to be the best show choir in New England again this season. I don't necessarily see that changing. Waltham, I think, is going to be the 2 here, although South Windsor, this is a program that has a lot of juice in it. South Windsor will be the 3 here, although I would not be surprised to see South Windsor either be super close or a nip Waltham for that 2 spot. And then that would be Andover in 4th in large mixed, just kind of by process of elimination. This small mixed field is certainly something. I'm trying to sort it out. I may not be lifeguarding the pool with Corn Pop, but I do know a thing or two about Scranton, Pennsylvania show choir. And they've had some pretty good seasons in small mixed. In fact, I believe took an overall event GC in Ohio a couple of years ago. So I will take. I don't know. Natick is calling my name like the Green Goblin mask, though. I will take Natick at the 1 in small mix. I'll go the 2, Bishop Hendricken at the 3, Hillsborough at the 4, Shep at the 5. We'll go Oliver Ames 6. Who have I not said yet? Are there 8? Okay, then Leominster 7 and Dartmouth 8.
I'll take Waltham at the 1. Waltham is my preferred of the 2, and for a reason that is not Daniel Hand's fault, really. They use old Los Alamitos charts to build their shows, and so I'm just hearing, you know, old Los Al charts and stuff like that. So it just like kind of Frankenstein into a show. So I just love Waltham as well. I prefer their show design a little bit, and they have taken some wins over Vibe in the past. I love both of these groups really, but just I'll give Waltham the slight edge here. And then I'm not gonna do anything special. I'm gonna take South Windsor at the 3 here, and then I'll take Andover at the 4. And then I'll give a shot to the Tier 2 division as well. I think I'm going to take Scranton number 1. I think they're such a fun story, just tearing up the Tier 2 division in Massachusetts, all the way from Pennsylvania in the last few years. And I will take Natick at the 2, and I will take Shep at the 3, Shepherd Hill Fantasy.
This matchup's actually really interesting to me because last year these two went against each other pretty much every competition. In the early season, Waltham took most of those. Took those comps at the early season, and then it flipped like mid-season. And then Daniel Hand started taking the wins against Waltham. So that's definitely going to be really interesting to see if that continues this year. I think I'm going to go Waltham at the 1 here. I think Daniel Hand at the 2, South Windsor at the 3, and then Andover at the 4. Tier 2, I'm just going to do top 3 because I do not know enough ball to do a full ranking here. I'm going to go Scranton at the 1, Natick at the 2, and then I'm going to go Shepherd Hill at the 3.
So I will take Daniel Hand placing first here. I'll take Waltham at the 2, South Windsor at 3, and then Andover at 4. And then same as Dylan, I don't really know enough about Tier 2, but I will take the Scranton for the upset, out-of-state upset. And then Natick, I think is how you guys are saying it, right? Am I right? And then I'll take Shep Hill.
And we do have word from the show design goat himself that Sparta is finished and awards are incoming.
I
So
saw that.
hopefully I can go watch Geese on Saturday Night Live and also watch the UFC main card in a little bit. Sparta willing. But I'm so excited to see those results. They've got to be wacky for how long we've been waiting.
I don't know. I don't necessarily think there needs to be a wackiness factor involved. I mean, I say, I mean,
Have you no whimsy, Will?
I'm just saying, I'm not against whimsy, but I don't think that there has to be whimsy in the results. I mean, I think all of us would agree we've seen more than our fair share of whimsy in show choir results today.
Yeah.
Perhaps, would it make it more worth it to stay on a very whimsical result? Sure. But I don't know if here there's a chance.
We lost audio. Yeah, we're hearing a lot of reverb.
Are we back?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, I don't know what happened there, but I would say maybe there's a chance 1 and 2 flips, 3, very solid 3, and then 4, 6. I would say Preble is probably still in the first seat to take 4. Will not be surprised to see either or old aides take the 5. And then obviously whoever takes the 6. So those are my unofficial, official, didn't have a lot of, haven't seen a couple of these shows this year prediction for Sparta.
Yeah.
And we do have word Sparta's on their showstoppers right now, so we should be getting those any minute.
Oh man.
Oh, brother.
Here we go.
I would just like to note that my phone is down to 5%, so I would really appreciate it if these awards came in before my phone went any lower than that.
Yeah. Courtney,
What's
Texas.
up? What?
Thoughts on Cowtown?
Oh my
Ham
goodness.
says.
Oh my gosh. Cowtown. I'm excited. I need to go to the page. I know who's going, but my brain is like fried. I don't even have it on here. Let me see. Cowtown.
Hold on. Let me roll a list.
Go for it.
Blue Lights, Voices of Central, Trojan Air, Bell System, Pantheon, Blue.
Put Trojanairs in the 1 with best choreo. Keller Blue Lights 2nd best vocals. Keller Blue Lights choreo last year was iffy at parts. I feel like some of it fit the set and some of it didn't. Just personal preference on that. In the 3, give me Pantheon. 4, let's go VOC. I think they're on a comeback year, so Voices of Central. And then 5 through 7 is where it goes downhill for me. You have Bell System coming off a great season. You have the SLC that's on the come up. They're under new direction this year. Jen Randall unfortunately stepped away to take a admin role, so she is SLC is now being directed by Casey Levy, who is an old VOC director, and also the treble group director. So that is, she has tons of experience with high profile groups. And then Shades of Blue, they just haven't been performing to their potential. I can see them changing that this season. They had Nick Chabot come in as a new director a few years ago. He's kind of had a few years, a season or 2 now to kind of get his feet on the ground and start running. So I think we will see them maybe come up this year in the Texas region.
Where are we looking, people in the chat? Help us out.
I think they're probably still on Showstoppers.
Goodness, we need to stop the show.
I appreciate individual performers in these ensembles getting recognized, but it undeniably adds time to awards, and I think especially after the finals, I think most people want to get on the road and get home.
Yeah.
We're just here waiting. Those stoppers are we're probably gonna do like just live by placement, right?
Did any of you want to take a blind shot in the dark at Cowtown?
Dominic Matos
Oh,
in first place. And then Keller in second. That's the extent of my knowledge. I'm so sorry.
No, that's fine.
Word started.
Oh baby.
Oh.
Let's do it.
Real quick, I'll do a rip on Cowtown. I'll go Keller at the 1. I'll go Jank 2. LD Bell at the 3. Foster Bridge at the 4. Keller Central at the 5. And I'll go SLC at the 6.
Okay.
We all expect to win Sparta. I think 3 of us said BK, 1 of us said on Alaska, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yep.
Which, either one of those would not be super surprising.
Yeah. Also, on a Sparta note, since we are talking about Sparta right now, I do want to give a shout out to the program that debuted at Sparta today, the Cedar Rapids Homeschool Resonation. Um, this is a homeschool group that got banned from competing in their own state because the state sanctions all the competition in Iowa, and obviously they're not a public school, so or even a private school. They don't really have to attach to. So the IHSMA more or less banned them from competing in state, so I have to go out of state to compete this year. And they were second in the prep division this morning, so I do want Cedar Rapids Homeschool Resonation. One of them, probably I think two uh, homeschool show choir programs that I know of in the country. The other one being MKS Studio in Omaha. So more of a unique breed, but I do appreciate that they are banding together, getting kids out on stage, and getting more people involved in the great art form of show choir.
Yeah, for real.
Sure.
And Trey, we did talk about ATSC's results. You're just gonna have to go watch the YouTube VOD, and you can see us chat about their win many hours ago now.
Now I think my comments are frozen, so now I'm stuck.
Yeah, our source can't hear the results.
Oh dear, that's a bit. We have a comment that says, "Does beat count as a homeschool?" The answer to that, I'm pretty sure, is no. And I want to draw a bit of a line here because there are some community groups like Beat in Indiana, Bloomington Express Arts Training, like Hyde's ETC School of Arts / Cuyahoga Falls, the Ship Choir Studio in Richmond. Some of you ball knowers in the chat may remember the Decatur Show Choir Complex in Illinois. What are some other community groups? Like Arts All-Star Group out of West Virginia, Celebration Entertainment Academy in California. They are community groups that draw from schools that don't have show choirs, or in the case of ETC.
Results. We are in.
Oh, okay.
Oh, they are.
Okay. I'll roll it off, I guess.
That's
First
fine.
place, BK Rhythm and Gold Vocals and Choreography. Second, On Alaska. Third, Reedsburg Choir Leaders. Fourth, Preble. Fifth, DeForest DeFortes. Sixth, Memorial Old Abe Show Choir. A whimsyless result.
Yeah, I don't think anything changed from prelims except maybe 5 and 6.
Yeah.
But I do want to give a shout to Green Bay Preble here. Preble is a group that they will travel somewhere every year because they'll usually run a pretty defined Eastern circuit. They'll go to New London, they'll go to here, and then depending on who's hosting or not hosting that year, they'll either go to like Green Bay Southwest or Milton or Fort Atkins, Grove, or somewhere generally in the eastern half of the state. And then they'll go out west at one point in time throughout the season. They've been to La Crosse before. They've been to Davenport before. This is the first year that they've been to Sparta, and to put together a really solid finals placement here. I don't think I think they just kind of performed where they should be. I don't necessarily think that anyone was expecting them to be on Alaska or Bloomington Kennedy, and I've seen Reedsburg show this year, and it's a very solid show as well. But for Preble to look at all the other groups here, and because they were sixth at New London last weekend, and say, hey, by the way, that sixth was not a fluke. That sixth was very legitimate, and we're able to back that up in another deep competition with 12 groups in the open division. I appreciate Preble for that, and I look forward to seeing their show here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I agree. I think the story here is definitely Preble. But big shout out to Bloomington Kennedy. This was not a guaranteed result for them. We had an inkling that they would have a shot at the first place, but on Alaska, even despite their their relatively disappointing results, still placing well at sorry, what competition was that? That was Holman. But this is on Alaska is a great group, flat out, and to have that sweep for Bloomington Kennedy is a big start to their season. Sorry, not a start to their season because they did split with Lacrosse at Onalaska. But still very early on in the season for them. A second and a first place, that's big for them. And I think they will continue to roll. And obviously, they have their home competition that's looking to be great. So I feel like Bloomington Kennedy's in a good spot right now.
Yeah. I don't have many thoughts beyond what you guys have said so far. Definitely a bounce back comp for Bloomington Kennedy. Taking down a group that they go against pretty often in Alaska. And yeah, definitely good result for Bloomington Kennedy here. For sure.
I had hope in the Hilltoppers, but at the end of the day, BK came in, which is an astounding win for them. It's a sweep and it's a great start to their season. And same for Hilltoppers, Reedsburg, Preble. All of these groups are starting an amazing season, and I can't wait to see like how this leads and how this season ends up ending for both Bloomington Kennedy and Onalaska.
Yeah, I would say if I had one final shout, I would give it to DeForest. This is a program that I kind of grew up watching in the prep division, and now they've made that transition to the varsity division, and now they are making finals in competitions with a lot of groups. And it certainly was not a fluke seeing as how they were fifth and not sixth in the finals round. So I think DeForest is one of those groups where they've worked hard for it, taken their lumps in the varsity division, and I'm super happy to see them get rewarded for that effort that they're putting in.
For sure. Well, guys, I think that is the end of our night, unless we have any other little blabs. I think that week 3 is officially over.
Right.
Well, I hope everybody has a great night. Look out for this live stream to go up on YouTube at some point tomorrow so you can watch it back and see every reaction once again. And I hope everybody has a good night, and we will see you for week 4.
Good night.
Good night, guys.
Good night.